Hello.
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 Hello, everyone. It is time for Revolutionary Change. I'm Jen Perelman.
Peter.
Wait, I'm
Hey.
Jen Perelman.
Are you sure about that?
I am.
Jen is going to have to endure this for this evening.
I know
guys.
it's a little bit weird now. I feel like my whole mojo has now been shifted.
Why is this not working? There we go.
My whole
That's what
mojo.
Jen is going to have to put up with for the next couple of hours. So
Unreal.
buckle
Like
up.
you're just here for. He's already playing like friggin' Mouse Commando.
I am not Mouse Commando. You said you got the keyboard. I said that I.
What's really interesting is between you about us is we're both left-handed, but he does the mouse with his left hand and I do the mouse with my right hand. So we both. But I know, but you generally prefer to do it with your left hand, and I do it with my right. So even though I'm a lefty,
but if I was sitting on that side, I would be doing the exact same thing. I would be using my right hand.
You wouldn't be on this side because you just wouldn't be on this side.
I've never been on that side.
You're not allowed to be on this side.
I've never.
You're not allowed to be on this side.
Anytime we ever sat in the studio, you need to scooch over a little bit.
I'm over.
You are encroaching.
No,
you're encroaching.
I'm not encroaching.
Yes,
you need to move over to the middle. But you're yes.
That's it. That's it. I think we did it.
So,
welcome to Monday Night Revolutionary Change.
yes.
If I make any mistakes being back in the studio for the first time in a while. Oh, Colin says he could barely hear me.
Because I don't think that mic is great. Hold on. I don't know. It doesn't look like it's even plugged in. Wait.
I mean, it looked like it was working before.
Well, I don't know how this works. Is it here?
And if not, then we'll just put that one in the middle. Colin,
Hold on. Wait.
Oh, yeah, green. It's green.
Okay. How's that? Are we
Colin,
good?
Talk. Let me know.
Speak.
How do I sound?
It worked for a second, but now it's back to not working.
Uh-oh.
Guys, help. No, Dave says he can't hear me. He can't hear you.
Can you guys? Well, okay. You still can't hear him, but I don't see why why are we not hearing Colin? I don't know why.
Well, that's
Oh, you can't hear me?
But this is what's happening when you come in and be in the studio. And if you don't, we're going to have to really share this.
You hit.
We're all over the place.
How's that, guys?
It might be the wire changed when touching. Aha.
Better. Colin says it's better.
Okay.
But that doesn't necessarily mean that it's because of this.
I don't know, but I don't like sharing my
All
microphone.
right, so let's find out if this is actually working.
I'm not going to be happy now.
Colin, can you give me a push that away? Colin, can you give me a thumbs up on whether or not you can hear me? You can't hear me out of this microphone.
This is the only one that works, right?
Why is that? Get your own damn studio.
Get your own studio.
This is only a one-time thing, guys. It's not like I relocate. It's not like I was dumb enough to relocate to South Florida. I just happened to be in town for a couple of days. Yeah, so David Hunter wants me to get my own mic. So I am going to share a mic with Jen, but I'm not going to share Jen's space. We're going to have to figure out how to get along for the next. Sorry to be that. Well, I mean, Jen is part of the chosen.
So are you.
Partially. But
So are
fully.
you.
Well, doesn't count.
It counts.
Ounce of blood.
We need to get a second microphone. We have no tech support either here right now.
Tech support is actually, have you seen Vanilla Sky? Tech support.
A long time ago. Yeah.
Tech support. Oh, look who showed up. There she is. And that is Debbie in her human form. Actually,
All right,
no, that's in
meanwhile,
her true form.
I'm pretty sure it's not Sam now.
It's not Sam?
I don't think so.
Oh, okay.
So I think it's Declan.
You think it's Declan?
It's Declan.
But Declan usually is a shapeshifter. He usually jumps back and forth.
I know, but he was gone for a long time, and then he's been back as Debbie for a while, and it's been popular, so he's maintained that.
Oh,
it's been a big hit in the chat.
This is great. Just finished my authentic Israeli dinner. Makluba, masukan, and zatar straight from the garden. Tastes like it was perfected in someone else's grandmother's kitchen. Well, maybe it's a...
Funny you talk about kitchen. We're having a chef, a Palestinian chef, Blanche. Her show, her YouTube channel is called Feast in the Middle East, and we're going to be speaking with her later. So it is kind of funny that she just brought up the cooking.
That's true. I can't think about food right now, but in a couple of hours I will.
I'm sure.
Make sure you smash that like button, guys. Make sure that we get this out there to as many people as possible. We're just getting started here this evening. We've got obviously a number of stories to talk about. You've got something that you're working on.
On my phone?
Yeah.
I was just thinking about something and I was going to just look something up. Does
Okay.
that bother you?
No, go ahead. I don't want to distract you.
Just pretend I'm not here.
Just pretend. Hey, that's a pretty easy thing to do.
That's
like
so
already.
mean.
I've already got the mouse. Eventually, I'll have the
It's
keyboard.
just so you're so it's like an invasive species.
Well, Tony is right. There is a hell of a lot of news to cover.
Oh yeah.
We were
No,
saying
we
earlier
have
that
to
there wasn't as much.
focus.
We do. So where else could we possibly start other than the fact that AOC has decided that she is going to double, triple, quadruple down on the fact that she is being exposed as the political opportunist that she's always been. She just, I guess for the most part, just kind of hid her stripes better than most for a very long time. And this should come as no surprise to anybody, but she did respond on social media, which she often does. And this is what she had to say. Silly as it may sound, Marjorie Taylor Greene's amendment does nothing to cut off offensive aid to Israel, nor end the flow of U.S. munitions being used in Gaza. Of course, I voted against it. Okay, before I even continue. So what you're saying, Alex, is that you were smarter than Rashida Tlaib, who has actual family in Gaza that's been mass murdered, and decided to vote with Marjorie and Thomas Massie.
But of course you voted against it.
So are you saying that Rashid is a moron? Are you saying that Ilhan Omar is a moron? Are you saying that Summer Lee is a moron? I thought these were your squad members. I thought these are your comrades.
No, the only difference is that Minnie Pelosi is willing to do AIPAC's bidding for free. So she gets to have bragging rights about not taking money from the lobbying organizations, but she still does their bidding. It's really gross. I guess she's just a lot cheaper to buy than other people that are on the AIPAC dole. She just does it for free.
Yeah, and I think her response to this is also one of sensitivity, maybe. She doesn't like being defied, and we'll get to why she decided to put this message out there in a minute. What it does do is cut off defensive Iron Dome capacities while allowing the actual bombs killing Palestinians to continue. Why would we want to defend the Iron Dome? In fact, there is a pervasive theory going around now that the only reason why there is mass slaughter in the Middle East and has been for generations is because there's an Iron Dome over Israel.
And that they have nuclear weapons and that that's it. That's the deterrent. They have that deterrent.
Perhaps if they didn't have an Iron Dome, there wouldn't be so much conflict in the Middle East. Much like if there was the Nakba 75 years ago, there probably wouldn't be any violence either. You know, nothing out of the ordinary, of course. But revisionist history is always the name of the game. And for her to go 0 for 2 in her statement is not quite surprising to me, as far as I can see.
No,
I think it's pretty telling.
No, she's a farce. But what's unfortunate, what I really think about when I think about her is it's unfortunate for her that the timing of her, where she is in her career, is where we are in history right now, because people have seen through it so much that what people could have gotten away with 20 years ago in terms of just being like Obama-ish and just sort of like being this beacon of hope and really doing nothing but platitudes and nothingness, that worked. And it's not working anymore. And that's the game she's playing. She's Minnie Pelosi. And it's not going to continue to work. It's a dying dinosaur breed. And people like her are going to be left holding their bag. It's kind of pathetic.
I have long stated that I do not believe that adding to the death count of innocent victims to this war, genocide, is constructive to its end. That is a simple and clever difference of opinion that has long been established. Again, playing right into the bullshit. Right into it. Consistently, always coming up short in her assessment of these dire situations. Never taking a stand. even if it means standing with somebody like Marjorie Taylor Greene, who you and Jasmine Crockett have taken full advantage of, I have no doubt, with your fundraising. I have no doubt that you have sent out countless emails, bleach bond, butch body, or whatever the hell shit you threw at Marjorie.
Right. Whatever. Like, you know,
I got the fundraising email from Jasmine. I'm sure you put one out there.
You know what it is? It's her progressive version of just like the vagina hat thing. That's all it is.
Yeah.
It's just sort of like a token. It's a catchphrase. It's just using something that you have no substance to anything just to rile up a whole bunch of people who are generally privileged.
I remain focused on cutting the flow of U.S. munitions that are being used to perpetuate the genocide in Gaza.
How is that when you keep voting to send them money? I don't understand how I do not understand how she can put that out there. I remain focused on cutting the flow of U.S. munitions. In which way? I'm sorry. Hasn't she voted yes to like all the most recent spending bills to go to Israel?
Yes.
And where are you focused on cutting them?
How can you say that you are focused on cutting munitions that are being used to perpetuate the genocide when you just voted no to stop $500 million being set? What do you think that money's going to be?
Well, she thinks that's just to protect the Iron Dome, because as if the military industrial complex is so ethical about which money goes where, you tool. You think that because that money is for protecting the Iron Dome, which, by the way, the Iron Dome in and of itself, it's not working. So if all that money is what we've been sending there for all these years, and you just keep throwing, now you're throwing good money after bad, because it really isn't working that well. Israel's getting thrashed. So I don't know. I think that she is just really getting more and more ridiculous.
Well, when you end up doubling and tripling down, this is ultimately what ends up happening. And so I believe Alex decided to follow up on her absurdity and continue down the path of no return. And so now she's coming into this whole, Department of Defense Appropriations Act. Google is free. You see, she also gets to be very condescending. There's also that part of her immaturity of which she has mountains of. If you're saying I voted for military funding, you are lying. Receipts attached. Drag me from my positions all you. Oh, we will, because they suck. Remember, you can have more respect for somebody who actually stands on principle on an issue that they really believe in versus somebody who is totally politically opportunistic. It would have been one thing. Listen, we had an opinion about Alex, and that was the way it was going to continue. Nothing was really going to change that. But the fact that she felt the need to come out, and now she's trying to bring receipts as if to suggest that she somehow is a good representative.
I'm not seeing the connection between what she's saying here and what that legislation was regarding the funding, Marjorie Taylor Greene's funding. So if you believe neo-Nazis are welcome and operating in good faith, you can have them. So who is she? To whom is she referring to? And what is this?
The HR 8774 Department of Defense Appropriations Act, which I believe is part and parcel what this actual bill was, and that the amendment that was being added in was by Marjorie to reduce the spending.
Okay.
And so what she's trying to do now is do this whole.
If you believe neo-Nazis are welcome, but to whom is she referring?
As I said, the thing that matters most about this particular vote more than anything else is the fact that Rashida and Ilhan voted for it. You have no defense if those two voted for it. No matter what you say, no matter what you do, they are two of the four original squad members. Don't know what Ayanna Pressley did, but I always knew that Diana Pressley played ball because she's waiting for Elizabeth Warren to retire so she could take her Senate
seat. Do you know
seat.
what it is? So you've got Ilhan Omar, Rashida Tlaib, and Al Green. And then
you're goddamn right that's a keffiyeh. And if there was a second one, I'd wear it. Sorry.
I love my keffiyeh. So what I'm saying is that Alex not supporting something that Rashida Tlaib would support when it's her people that we're talking about in this regard, right?
If it was such a bad
and
amendment.
Other people that are, minority people.
Sure.
And then here's Alex, and it's like she's sitting there with the luxury of distinguishing offensive and defensive weapons. And you know what that is? That's caucasity.
In a big way.
It's caucasity, Alex. Like, how dare you? How dare you do that when like your like colleagues, it's just you have no integrity. You have no integrity whatsoever.
And evidently people are not very happy about the fact that Alex's office in the Bronx got doused with red paint and was calling her. Colin, could you please pull up the Instagram post? They were calling her, a sellout and all that. Guys, we have 120 people watching. We only have 77 likes so far. Make sure you smash that like button, please.
Okay.
Very, very important if you could. So I believe this is the post. AOC's office vandalized overnight. Following Rep. AOC's backlash and controversial refusal to vote yes on MTG's amendment that would stop military aid for Israel's Iron Dome, Bronx constituents have appeared to vandalize her Bronx campaign office. Images of the actual act were submitted anonymously on X. User Decolonize This. Interesting. Along with a note that allegedly reads, "The Bronx is sick and tired of people like AOC and Richie Torres." Well, let me tell you something, Alex. You've sunk really low when you now are being associated with Richie fucking Torres. You might as well be associated with Debbie.
Well, that's why I'm saying the only difference is he gets money for his AIPAC stance. She's doing it for free.
Yeah, that is a perfect shot. I mean, right when the paint's going to splatter. I mean, and they got her right on the face. And the irony of it all is, look at the name that is above Alex's head. If you think that there isn't a connection with the people doing this that are basically trying to warn Zohran not to go down this path, I don't know what is. It couldn't be more clear from where I stand that that's what this message is what the message that they're trying to convey is. We've lost Alex. We should have known better. Zohran, we are watching you, and we do not want to see you do the same thing. And so, in addition to that, what was said is, the Bronx stands with the people of Palestine, and we denounce the hypocrisy of AOC, who voted to fund Israel's ongoing genocide and starvation campaign in Gaza. It is a starvation campaign, which is crimes against humanity.
19 people in the past, I don't know if it was the past 24 hours or 24 hours before, but within a 24-hour period, 19 people died of starvation in Gaza.
It's become increasingly obvious that some politicians have underestimated how much Americans are tired of waking up to news of yet another war crime and mass murder attacks of innocent civilians perpetuated by the Israeli occupying force. Again, as you'd like to say, it's not the IDF, it's the IOF.
Well, or we just say the death force instead of defense. Then you say death. You could say IDF.
I think so.
Death force.
And when people come out, and this is the thing that's interesting, because I don't know if you have it, Colin, but if there's some of the commentary from some of the people that were defending AOC, this is absurd. Y'all hit the other 430 members who voted it down too. How's this productive? I'll tell you. Oh, and we happen to know the person who posted that comment and got a hell of a lot of likes. Boy, it would really suck if that information came out about that particular person. So let's just put this out there.
My God.
So let's just put this out there. You know why you go after Alex? Because she seeks to be a leader. She wants to be a leader. She wants all the power. She wants to be a boss lady in the Democratic Party. She sees an opening like some other people see, and time to time in politics, this is how it happens. So they sense an opening to go get it, and Alex is basically saying, well, if I do this and I do that, then yeah, these opportunities will be presented to me, and I'm going to be a good little foot soldier. But then you get stupid sycophants like one who will remain unnamed, and then another person who says, I just hope the same amount of energy is going to use those who oppose it, openly support Israel. And again, we do it for everybody, but Alex deserves an extremely high amount of ire because she is claiming to be somebody that she isn't.
And has been from the beginning. And another one, I'll do another promo for Sabby Sabs, that a really good deep dive into AOC. And it really is a lot of the stuff that we've talked about before, especially with Zaina on the show, as far as the perception that she put out there through that image with Justice Democrats versus what is real. And those are very different things. So, for her to say something like she would be willing to be a one-term representative, when now you can look at things in her past that indicate that no, she was always in it for a career, because she left out the fact that she interned for Kennedy out of her resume. So, there were just a lot of things that she did that was misleading. So it is different. And she held herself out to be some sort of like, we're bringing the ruckus. You've brought nothing. You've brought yourself to the Met Gala in a stupid ass dress. That's what you've brought.
There was an image that I sent Jen earlier today that I could send you now, Colin, that I think perfectly captures where AOC is at this point and who she really is. Because from the moment that we saw, and we did get I remember this very well. We actually had a viral post on Facebook and Instagram when we addressed AOC at the Met Gala all the way back in, what was it, 2020?
Yeah.
It was a while ago.
It was a long time ago.
But we even said at that time,
I was in my last house.
Yeah. Like, this is a sign that she's not who you think she is.
Yeah. Just going to that thing in at all. Just showing up at that gala at all to me was very weird. And I remember we talked about it at the time. I remember saying at the time, like, I thought that it had an appearance of impropriety and just really looking unserious. And she did. She looked unserious.
Extremely unserious. I don't know why I'm having a hard time. I thought I sent you that image. I could have
sent it to me.
Yeah, didn't I? Oh yeah, that's right. It might have been. Yeah, that's it. Okay. So, Colin, I want you to just blow up this image real quick, because I do think that it perfectly captures Alex in so many ways. As Jen, this is a great sign, by the way.
That's mine.
There's a lot of fake outrage going on out there.
I have a lot of real outrage. That's the thing. I have significantly real outrage.
Guys, 150 people watching and only 106 likes. You got to do us a solid. You got to do us a solid here. How often am I going to share the studio with Jen?
Rarely. Somebody was taking issue with my keffiyeh?
Yeah, somebody in the chat.
Why would somebody not like my keffiyeh? Would we still have people
in our chat? We got Zios here that,
Not really.
Are you sure?
No, I know that we have Zios, but somebody would say something with the keffiyeh. They usually, other than Debbie, they just generally blend in.
I'm starting to believe that maybe this really is Debbie, and this is really what's going on. It might actually be true.
So
we don't to be suggesting otherwise, but that's just what I'm thinking. If there is an image that perfectly captures AOC right now,
so pathetic, but it's true.
But it's true.
Guys, if you can't, for people who are listening, you can't see it. So it's a political cartoon, and it shows basically a little, what I am assuming would be a Palestinian child in a bed sleeping with two IDF soldiers standing with guns drawn over him while he's sleeping. And it's AOC in her tax the rich dress that's basically shielding the soldiers from harm while people are trying to hurt the soldiers to help the kid. And she's the one shielding the soldiers. It's pathetic. It really is. It's pathetic. Wearing her tax the rich dress. She's just very performative. She's ridiculous. She's
what does this even mean? Like, what does that mean? You don't like us talking? Why are you here?
Yeah.
Thank you, though. But remember, every time you comment, it just adds to the algorithm.
Too much chat? What should we be doing?
I don't know. Maybe there's too many people chatting. But with that said,
then don't have to be in the chat.
Alex, you will not win this.
No. Fly, Icarus, fly. You're coming late to that party. You needed to get in the game a good 20 years ago to play the game you're playing. We're not having a mini Pelosi. We're not. Nobody wants that.
And the sad part is that all the scumbags, and they're still scum, don't get me wrong. Like the people that are opportunistically out against you, like Alex Stein and Betty Johnson and people like that, yeah, they still suck. But so do you. Sometimes, and this is the life lesson of politics and why we have red team versus blue team, is that, as you said, Jen so eloquently has put it for so very long, people desperately need upper management and they want their teams and they want to feel like a part of something. Well, guess what? The dirty little secret about politics is that most often, there are no good guys and bad guys. Those lines don't exist. And Alex has proven time and again that what's most important to her, even in the face of a genocide of innocent children, is her career. That's it.
Which actually makes her perfect for being the who Pelosi passes a torch to. It's perfect. She is them.
Yeah.
But the thing is that I think a lot of people, like me maybe a few years ago, and some people still are having a hard time to come to terms with, the fact is that she's always been this way. We just didn't see it. And unfortunately, I do believe the same thing about Bernie. I think it's always been Mick resistance in political theater. I
will say this, Travers, if the person that we were referencing is the one that's going to be defending Alex, then she really is screwed. That's not good.
That's all she, those are the only people she has now.
Pretty much.
And then a handful of the Hillary people that finally realize maybe Bernie isn't so bad.
Maybe so. If you are enjoying this conversation, unlike maybe a couple, we appreciate you being here. We have over 170. We do. But make sure you go to patreon.com/revolutionary change for as little as $5 a month. $5. You could become a supporter of our small but mighty and growing channel. And so we want to obviously give a big round of applause to all of our wonderful patrons that are here supporting our channel. Jen's searching for something, so I'll continue with my spiel. Oh, you poor bullet.
Oh,
yeah. Okay. Here's your bullet.
Thank you.
So as we were saying, make sure that you support our wonderful channel if you are so inclined. But if you do not choose to support our channel through Patreon, you can also support us through YouTube with a super chat. Kenman, thank you so much for the $6.99 Canadian A. I find some progressives are obsessed with danger of neo-Nazis, but not Zionism.
I would say that is the case for the people that we call the peppers, the progressives, except for Palestine. It's exactly that. They see it everywhere else except with the Zios. That's why I say Zio-Nazis. They are the same.
And why is that? Because no one ever, this is the thing about a political career. And this is also the thing about politicos who do podcasting for a living. You see, we had an incredible spike recently where the channel grew. It was growing exponentially. And
thank you all for being here.
Yes, but it's also slowed down. Now, it doesn't mean that it's slowed to a crawl, but it's more at a modest pace. Now, if the only thing that was of concern to us was our career and making money, then we would just lean into whatever topic was going to get us the most support. Instead, we have a mission here. We're trying to facilitate that mission. And we are not going along just to do what others may do for the sake of making money. And the reason I bring that up is because this is a prime example of that. Crossing that Rubicon of I'm going to address Israel, I'm going to address Zionism, even at the risk of my channel getting flagged, getting suppressed. We're willing to do that, but most channels are not. That's why we give it up to people like Savvy, like Tim Black, people that do not even think twice about it. Of course, our good friend Jordan Chariton and Status Quo News. That's who's doing real journalism. You have to go where people are not afraid to go.
We're curators of sorts. We're information curators.
I think so. I think we put our own little spin.
Well, we put our spin on it, but we definitely bring on people that know what they're talking about or have a personal story to share.
Sajid, I just have to tell you, as somebody who was born in Brooklyn and raised in New Jersey, this is actually one of the things about Alex that I always found perplexing that no one would ever talk about. She does not sound at all like she's from there. Which is why when everyone says that she was raised in Westchester and not the Bronx, or Westchester County and not Kings County. Is it Kings County? No, wait. Is it Bronx County? I forget what county the Bronx is. But anyway, my point is that is 100% correct. That is something I always found interesting. She does not have even a slight hint of an accent. Then again,
she's a persona. She is a made-up persona or an exaggerated persona. And that's just the way it is.
Maybe she tried to have one,
I'm telling you, she's the Spice Girls of politics.
Which Spice is she?
Just the fact that she's manufactured. Doesn't matter what's stupid Spice.
Scary Spice.
No, there was a Scary Spice. So she's stupid Spice.
There you go. Noah Linden, thank you so much for the $2 super sticker. Always appreciate you being here. And you're one of our Patreons already. So thank you very much for your support. Kenman again with the $6.99 Canadian. AOC fans, the kind of people who think The Guardian is a great paper. I understand what you're saying. I think you could have used an even better reference point. I would have used like the Huffington Post or something like that. So yeah, that's a great
but
rag of
that's
information.
okay. Yeah.
Understandable, of course.
Not quite MSNBC, but
that's true. Although they would probably think, yeah, but MSNBC, it's not that bad.
It's not that bad. The amount of people that I talk to in my life that truly believe, and they believe this. These are people that are well-meaning people. They think they're progressive. They're the left, and they think they're left. They truly believe that MSNBC is better than Fox.
That's funny.
Like they really do. That's that elitism, that superiority. They truly believe, and that the people that watch Fox are so stupid.
Do you know that more progressives, true progressives, are allowed on Fox than they're allowed on MSNBC?
Well, that's been the case for a while.
AOC, thank you, Saji, for the $1.99. AOC posing in Vogue is proof she wants to be famous. And that was also very early on in her career.
It was. That was not that far. That was close to the same time as the Met Gala.
Or the, when she did the cover with Pelosi and a couple of other congresspeople.
It's not
when
good.
People show you who they are, believe them. Sajid again with the $1.99. I have a soft spot for MTG and Matt Gaetz. Well, look, as I've said, I don't have to like them as people. They can be extremely obnoxious and condescending and controversial. But if they do right by policy, then in the end, that's really all that matters. These people are not your friends. There is also that problem with Alex, is that people, they look at her like she's some type of like a movie star, musician.
I don't know who does that anymore. I don't think people do anymore. I don't know who you're talking about. Who are these people? She had 2018. She got in. She was very popular. She very slowly but surely showed that she's not worth shit in terms of a mission or a movement of helping people. Not really. And so who are her people?
It's fair.
The libs that supported Hillary that now realize, okay, I guess Bernie wasn't so bad, seeing that that's the best we can do. Who are her people? I don't think like Minnie Pelosi has a huge following. That's what somebody was saying. Like, who's her base now?
I mean, she does have a huge social media platform.
That very well might be, but that doesn't account for votes to win her a bigger seat than she's got.
That's fair. Perry Stein, thank you so much for the $5. Republicans are your honest ideological enemies. Democrats like Sandy Ocasio are snakes who claim to be your friend. They are just as, I would say that they're more dangerous.
Yeah, for that reason, but for exactly that reason, for what Perry's saying.
Because they're pretending like they actually are on your side. They're not.
Yeah.
Kenman with the $2.79 Canadian aid. Dude Dissidents are great also. Keaton and Russell, we have collabed with them several times before. We are very happy for their success. Obviously,
I am annoyed with Keaton right now.
Keaton doesn't want to talk about MMT with Steve Grumbine.
That's not the only reason I'm annoyed with Keaton right now. I'm annoyed with Keaton right now because he ghosted me when I messaged him last, and I don't take kindly to that.
Guys, tell Keaton he needs to get in touch with Jen, please.
I just don't appreciate not being
I know we have tons.
I don't appreciate not being responded to.
I know we have tons of crossover with Dude Dissidents with our audiences. So guys, next time you're in the stream, please let them know. Noah, thank you again for the $5. AOC sounds like she's from the Connecticut suburbs.
Well, that's closer to where she grew up.
That's true. Right? Not too far. Not too far at all. Dennis, thank you so much for the $4. And I do like that 18-wheeler. I wonder if you're one.
Dennis,
that's what you drive.
Dennis, are you a trucker? Are you a trucker?
Dennis, let us know in the chat if you're a trucker, although our chat's gotten huge, so I don't know. You might have to do another little super chatty.
No, I'll catch you.
Mark J., thank you for the $2. Opportunists are despicable people. Yes, they are. Extremely despicable. Really terrible people. Terrible people, really bad people.
Yes, they're the same as people that price gouge in a hurricane. Opportunists are people that play on your despair and hope and give you this sense of that they're on your team when in fact they're really not on your team, as opposed to the people that you just know are not on your team. It's really gross.
What you have to understand is that when some people give you a boost, you have to be willing to suck it up and just not say anything. And that's it. So one more time, patreon.com/revolutionary change. For as little as $5 a month, you could become a supporter of our small but mighty and growing channel. And we appreciate you all being here. So speaking of bullshit,
Oh, there's no shortage.
Israel and their compatriots, I guess you would say, want you to believe that their economy is doing just fine. And you know how you know that their economy is doing fine? Because the stock market's doing well.
Oh.
Because that's the measure of a successful country. Let me assure you, nothing is more important. The stock market's the highest it's ever been, greatest numbers you've ever seen. What we now know is that that is a loaded crap of bullshit, if there ever was. And if anybody can explain to us why that is the case, it has to be Francesca Albanese.
Into an economy of genocide. The Tel Aviv Stock Exchange has increased its value 179%.
Colin, talk to us, baby.
Hi. It's
Can't
a
hear
thing.
you, Colin.
It's a you thing.
Check the chat.
It's a you thing. Oh, so we can't hear it. So we have to figure out what's going on with our audio because it was working before.
No, was it when we played something else? Right?
Yeah.
What did we
No,
play?
it doesn't matter. We played that and I played this and it did sound. Audio was good. You guys can hear us. We can't hear it.
Okay, so that's fine. So then just play it.
I don't know if we could do anything with the speakers.
I could turn them up, but it doesn't.
I don't know if
help
that's going
the
to make
situation.
any difference.
Yes.
Can't hear
Maybe
audio.
it's this. We're having trouble hearing the audio of video we're playing, but the people there can hear it.
Yes. So technical difficulties in the moment, but I think we're able to fix this. Is it the motive mix?
No, it's probably.
Do you see what happens? You being in the studio, everything it's all crazy.
Yeah, it's all my fault.
It is all your fault.
It's probably the wrong device.
It was working before. That was what was what was interesting.
So we're playing a video. They're all
Yeah,
hearing
they
it.
can hear everything. They can't. We can't hear it.
Yeah, you want those speakers.
That's what I thought. Okay. Yeah, I should do it.
Hold
All
on,
right, so let's
just
test it.
Make sure that we can.
Yeah, well, that's not. Well, that's a good sound.
It's all right.
Okay, so you can hear. You should be able to monitor it that way.
All right, we'll keep this over here just in case. And, we replaced her. Jen's gone for a moment.
Tech support is here.
Yes.
Billions in the last month alone.
Okay. So we will start again. Francesca Albanese is going to inform us as to why Israel's claims that their economy is doing just fine because the stock market's doing well. Here's why that's not true.
Economy of occupation just turned into an economy of genocide. The Tel Aviv Stock Exchange has increased its value 179%, 70 billions in the last month alone. Why? Arms manufacturers and security/surveillance system has been profiteering a lot through the customization of weaponry and how Israel has perfected certain techniques of surveillance or hitting, killing Palestinians throughout this genocidal war.
You know, one of the things that also comes to mind when you think about the connection here as to why this is happening and why the stock shares are going up in Tel Aviv. Have you guys thought about Palantir and Alex Karp and Peter Thiel and what they have said specifically about how they are committed to helping Israel win, whatever the hell that means, and helping them with this type of technology? So you could easily see the connection here. I think that's pretty obvious. What's going on?
I have to answer this. Yes, he was wearing scrubs.
That was really important.
It was very important.
Well, it's Harashnu, so one of our top
exactly.
dogs.
Yes, that was my husband doing tech support, and he was wearing scrubs.
I think I would have figured that out, but I had already pulled it up. I was in the right place, so eventually I would have got it. Just saying.
Palestine has always been a laboratory for Israel, and Israel must be understood as a military state. In order to preserve itself as an ethno-state, it has had to rely significantly on the use of force, on military force. And the Palestinians have provided an endless pool of resources on which to test surveillance techniques, technology, and other kinds of weapons with zero accountability, zero scrutiny, and a lot of return. One people enriched and another erased. Israel's economy is a business of erasure, of elimination. 60,000 people have been killed. Over 100,000 have been maimed.
That number is not anywhere near as high as is actually the case. And what I would also say to anybody who says, hey, Israel's doing great, our economy has high stock prices. So what you're admitting is that you are boosting your economy through Palestinian blood. So you are openly admitting that the only way you're able to boost your economy is by producing a war economy, quote unquote, for the purpose of mass slaughter.
Well, what else do they have now? Their ports are destroyed. Their airport is destroyed. There's a whole bunch of countries that aren't trading with them because it's not worth the amount of infrastructure and whatever logistics it takes to get all the way around Africa, because they're not able to get through because of Ansar Allah in Yemen. And so there's all these problems that they're having, and not to mention, not the least of which is about 1 million of their people have evacuated. You have the entire north side has not been repopulated since it started getting attacked however long ago by Hezbollah. You have people that are pulling out of contracts, whether it's in tech or whatever else, that were supposed to be establishing. You know, Israel is a huge tech hub, like a Silicon Valley level tech hub. And there's a lot of people that have canceled deals, contracts, and pulled out of stuff. So now all they're going to have is a war economy. But the problem is that's not their economy. That's our economy. They don't really have a war economy. They don't, that's Lockheed Martin, Raytheon, all of our companies are who is providing them with the weapons, which is why it doesn't matter how high their stock market is. It matters what the people there are like. Well, it doesn't matter how high our stock market is either.
That's true.
It's kind of, that's not the measurement of, it's not a good measurement.
No, and eventually it will collapse because this can only go on for so long.
1/3 of the killed ones are children. The harm that has been done to the Palestinians is enormous and can hardly be met by justice. However, there is something absolutely abominable in the way this genocide has been committed. This is a genocide that has been enforced through weaponry, technology, and surveillance systems of the 21st century. If I look back right now, after 3 years of this mandate as a special rapporteur, I see a continuum in various pieces of work that I've done. Israel has violated the right of self-determination of the Palestinians, like the rights to exist on the little land that remains to them, politically, culturally, economically. It has strangled the possibility for them to have an economy by controlling their resources, land, water, fuel, gas, and diverting them and the profits that others could make out of them toward itself. And this is why I insist today we need to stop feeding this illusion that there is a good Israel and a bad Israel, a good Israel with whom it's okay to do business, while if you cross the green line and you get into the colonies, then it becomes problematic. No, it's Israel which commits violations of the right of self-determination, which maintains an unlawful occupation, which advances annexation, and therefore it's Israel which today must face sanctions, divestment, and based on what civil society is increasingly and successfully doing, boycotts.
This is also one of the key reasons why we push for BDS and why the Zionist state side, Wasserman Schultz being one of the most obvious because she has submitted several bills on this fact. Wasserman Schultz, for all the things that she's done badly in Congress, her attempts to criminalize people who practice BDS may be as bad as anything that she has done. And this is, and she's not the only one, but this is common practice. They know that bank divestment sanctions is actually how Israel's going to break.
Boycott, divestment.
Boycott. I said that? I know. Yes. Boycott, divestment sanctions. But yes, that's what we need to do.
No, Tony, not that. But we still have, I want to say there's like 36 states that have
a law on the books.
They have anti-BDS legislation in their state laws. Florida, of course, is one. And yeah, it's been a problem for years.
Yep.
The report exposes an economy of occupation which has turned into an economy of genocide. For decades, Israel has advanced its settler colonial project, enabled, facilitated, supported by a network of private entities, which range from the arms sector, Elbit system, Lockheed Martin, surveillance sector, Palantir.
There he is.
Ugh.
There he is. Let me tell you, I'll never forget the time that he got confronted. Remember on the 92nd Y when he was giving that speech on
He
the
looked
Upper East Side?
pleased.
He looked as, did I kill some of your family?
He was like definitely like enjoying
He was like
it.
enjoying. He was getting off on it. He was
Yeah,
like, oh
he was
yeah,
just-
you mean I killed some of your family?
He had no give a shit.
Oh my God. Yeah, no, a total psychopath, like a psychopath.
Yeah, for sure.
There's a difference between a person who's a sociopath who does it as a means to an end, whereas a psychopath actually enjoys committing those crimes. Hence American Psycho, you know? But he's like American Psycho. That's what I see. I see a different form of Patrick Bateman when I look at Alex Carr.
He's definitely creepy.
100%.
Whose tools, techniques, and equipment have been used to forcibly displace the Palestinians from their lands, to destroy their lands and livelihoods, their homes, and then to segregate and surveil them with walls, fences, CCTV cameras, etc. And then they have been replaced. So they have been displaced and replaced, and in a way in which the private sector has proven instrumental in creating a new habitat, a new ecosystem made of homes, services, infrastructures, where Israeli Jews and others and their partners, their associates, have replaced the Palestinians. Think of the construction of the colonies, roads, water and electricity infrastructure, extracting Palestinian natural resources, and then producing goods and services and circulating them, connecting to a domestic, regional, and international sets of markets. If Palestine was a crime scene, it would have the fingerprints of all of us.
You're not kidding. And the other thing that I think is so true is that it's the theft of culture, it's the theft of ideas. There is nothing real about Israel. It's all fake. It's all made up, which is why you have people like Daniela Weiss who go on and say, this was promised to us by God 3,000 years ago.
Oh my God. She's so gross.
Yes.
She's like a ghoul.
Well, if anybody deserves to not only be in The Hague, but to have a public execution a la Mussolini, she would be the type of person, along with Ben-Gvir, Netanyahu, and Smirnish. Smoltrich, you know, same shit. Line them all up, baby. They all got what's coming to them, that's for sure. Am I wrong?
No.
I don't think so.
You're not wrong.
Am I ever wrong?
Yeah.
Sometimes, but not about this.
You're okay.
I think we have to be very crystal clear about what's in front of us, guys.
What's in front of us?
What's in front of us is an opportunity to make real systemic change. The reason they're fighting as hard as they're fighting right now is because they are paranoid as hell, that something is going to change in this country. And that is why we have to give a quick shout out to our, hopefully, friend, I would say associate, because we're definitely talking about the same stuff. But a big shout out to Jacob Berger. The third Freedom Flotilla is trying to get off the ground, but they are sabotaging the shit out of it. And here's what Jacob had to say about this. This was posted yesterday.
This is very serious. It was sabotaged, our ship, 2 ways. This guy delivered water, and it appears that 50% of it was acid.
So let's just lock in on this guy's face. First of all, he looks like a narc. He looks like a spook. So how much more obvious could you possibly be? The fact that they've got him.
He definitely looks like
he's up to some shit.
He's definitely out of place, and you can't see it, but if you pan around, because I've been watching Jacob's videos from this voyage, and he definitely does look out of place. Like, he definitely looks like he's an agent.
Oh,
he's like an agent
of something.
An agent of something. So apparently there was acid in their water.
Well, that's not the only thing that happened.
Right.
And Jacob will explain further.
It spilled out onto 2 of the crew members and hurt their legs. It would have been very bad. Also, we discovered this rope that was tied.
I mean, come the fuck on. How do you defend? Who would actually come out there and say, yeah, we made a mistake. We tied the boat up. No. What is actually going on here,
Different
if we're
types of
being
sabotage,
honest,
just different forms of sabotage.
you see this thing right here, guys? Do you know what this is? This isn't the phone. This is a surveillance tool. And if people want to follow you to wherever you're going, for example, the members of the latest Freedom Flotilla, they are being tracked. And if they decide that they're going to pass information along to somebody either within one of our alphabet agencies or one of their alphabet agencies and say, hey, this is where they're docking, this is when they're going to launch, if you possibly want to, meet them with an unfortunate accident of some kind. It's one thing to tie their boat up. It's another thing to put acid in their drinking water. I mean, these guys are extremely evil sons of bitches. And the more they're exposed, the more people, everyday people, are going to be turned off to the realities of what is going on in Gaza and say, no, we're not having any part of that anymore. I would think that that would be a pretty reasonable response.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. And I don't think, I think a lot of people like me that are following this, I'm not expecting that this voyage would necessarily be successful, which doesn't mean I don't support the concept, because I think you have to keep doing it, just as a matter of you have to keep doing it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's obvious that they're being sabotaged.
To the rudder, that has not happened naturally. That must have been scuba divers that did some shit. Luckily, we were able to slap it off, and also we were able to get replacement water. So we are requesting a full investigation into this apparent sabotage that could have seriously hurt members of the crew. Please keep all eyes on deck. Follow Gaza, Freedom Flotilla, and Free Palestine.
Yes.
Amen to that, brother. And credit to him for putting himself out there. Credit to friend of the show, Chris Smalls, for doing that as well.
Yeah.
You find out who the real courageous individuals are, the ones who are willing to get on a ship that could be sunk or poisoned. What do you think would have happened if they didn't notice that rope attached to the bottom of their ship?
I don't know. They would have had mechanical problems. But yes, but I don't think that's not like, it's not the same thing as like an explosive device. It's not. I mean, it's not the same thing.
Don't give him any ideas.
Yeah, I'm the person who came up with that.
I'm just saying.
That's been in every friggin' like James Bond movie ever, is some sort of explosive device in a boat, and you have to dive off the boat into the water before the explosive happens.
Oh, you're suggesting that actually there could be an explosive device on the ship. Is that what you're saying?
Oh my God.
Are you saying that you don't? That is good. Come on. That's not bad.
It was pretty good,
That's
Sean
pretty
Connery.
good.
It was pretty good.
Well, you have to understand, if you're going to fight these terrible people, a good Scotsman is always the smartest move.
A good Scotsman.
That's what I said.
Mm-hmm.
Because the Israelis,
I do like me a Scotsman.
they're dangerous people. You might want to think about relocating to Scotland.
I'm thinking about relocating to Ireland.
Ireland is also a great place.
They don't want me though.
That's right. We don't want you there.
Stop it.
The Irish are great people.
Stop it. Whenever you do Irish, you sound like the
Lucky
freaking
Charm.
leprechaun, the leprechaun from Lucky Charms.
What is
They're
it?
magically delicious.
Magically delicious. But I don't have red hair. And I don't have freckles. I'm not a ginger. I don't have gingivitis. Now, if you haven't seen the South Park episode, Ginger Kids, see that. I know you don't like South Park, but I'm sorry. There is so much. I'm sorry, but there is great satire. Now everyone's going to see that and be like, oh my God, what the hell did we just look at? Yeah, see, Saul gets it. Gingivitis. That's what it's about. Everybody's getting along and everybody's having a good time. So, with that said.
Yeah, we have a very immature chat.
We do, but we also have a great chat. A chat that, that supports us. We are very pleased this evening to have a wonderful guest that we have been very happy to get. It's been several months, but we finally made it happen. Scheduling is obviously key, which is why we must do these things in advance, which is always a good idea. But for those of you who don't know, Blanche Arji Shaheen, and I believe I said that right, find out in a minute if I did or not, She has a wonderful channel called Feast in the Middle East. And I believe also has written a book, Feast in the Middle East, A Personal Journey of Family in Cuisine. Now, I happen to love Middle Eastern cuisine, especially Middle Eastern.
Food for you.
Food is very important, is it not?
It's important.
Absolutely.
But this
Blanche,
can you stop?
no. Go ahead.
I am not liking you being back in the studio. I'm going to reclaim my time. You're so freaking annoying.
I'm reclaiming my time.
What I was going to say is Palestinian, I believe American, but family's Palestinian, and hence Feast in the Middle East. And while many people from Israel have claimed that that's their cuisine, they lie because they stole it. But yeah, and she has had numerous. She has YouTube show, but also has had her videos have been like on the BBC. I'm telling you.
Blanche, welcome
situation.
to Revolutionary Change.
Hi.
Hi. You both were cracking me up.
Oh no. He hasn't been in the studio in a while. We're normally in different places. So I'm not used to him being in my space.
My tea moment with
Oh, very nice. So let's start with that because I know you were born here, but I know it was your grandfather, right? Your family's Palestinian.
Yeah, they are. So I was born in San Francisco,
right?
And my parents left shortly after the 1967 war, but I would spend my summers there. So I would go, and that's why I spoke Arabic first before I learned English in school. My parents just threw me in school, expecting me to learn English. That was a little troublesome, but yeah. So I'd spend my summers there in Bethlehem, and and my grandmother's house overlooks Gilo settlement. So I remember when I was little, each summer that I would come to visit her, the settlement would grow and grow and grow and grow, and now it's like massive. I could literally see it from her house. Yeah, so my experience is definitely from there and from in America.
What was the, this is something that I've mentioned a lot of times here, and it's not something that I personally have. I crave it, but I don't have it. Is this attachment to land that you find in, it's an indigenous thing. You see in indigenous communities, but it is a very Palestinian thing, and it's very connected with the land, the food, and the cooking. Mm-hmm. And so is that like where does it come from when you started getting interested in doing cuisine and focusing on this? I mean, obviously you're from the States, so somebody must have inspired you in your upbringing that this is your kind of vibe.
Oh, absolutely. So I was trained as a journalist. So I was a journalist for many years, and then I made the switch to Feast in the Middle East later, maybe like 10 years into my career, because I was just getting burned out. And I also wanted to focus on this food because I felt like it was rapidly, like you said, getting appropriated. And for me, it's food is a very core part of our identity. Like just the smell of za'atar, for example, will transport me to my childhood walking around in Jerusalem or in Bethlehem. The olive trees are so integral to our culture. They're almost like a member of the family. And that's why when you see them bulldozing millions and millions of trees while greenwashing and talking about how environmentally friendly they are, it's an affront to us on so many levels. On a visceral level, a lot of the times these trees are like a member of our family. The smell and taste of olive oil transports me there too. So I really felt it was important to document all of these recipes, to in some cases talk about like the certain villages where some of these dishes came from, so that people understand the historical lineage where they came from, so that they understand it's not just like Mediterranean platter of food. It's so much deeper than that, if that makes any sense.
No, I think it's awesome. I think it's really cool that you did that. Are these recipes that are particularly your family, or?
Yes, that's a good that's an excellent question, because what's funny, Jennifer, is that in our Palestinian culture, like every city has its own flavor as to how they make a dish, right? So like, Makluba. It's an upside down dish featuring.
I'm very familiar. I've been to the Magluba. I've been to Magluba Festival and
No
tasting.
way.
Oh, there was a tasting. So when you say there's different Magluba, I am extremely familiar. However, I have learned that vegetarian is not one of them. But anyway,
Are you vegetarian?
I'm pescatarian. But when I told this very nice woman, she didn't even speak English. This Palestinian woman, I said I don't eat meat. She's like, I get you chicken.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. I'm like, okay.
It's just like my big fat Greek wedding. Like if you're
Yes,
vegetarian,
I was laughing. I'm like, I cannot believe I'm in this. This is happening to me. And it was all these, like, as a person who grew up Jewish, it was like I felt like I was in a it was like a tent, but it was a whole room full of bubbies.
I love it.
I know they weren't because they're Palestinian. I don't know what you said, but they were like, I felt like I was in a room full of Palestinian bubbies.
That's hilarious. No, that's what we do. If you're not eating red meat, then that means you're vegetarian, obviously. But yeah, so the men's stuff, we make it differently in Bethlehem versus the way you make it in Hebron versus the way you make it in Ramallah. So I wanted to bring kind of the Bethlehem aesthetic or Ramallah aesthetic because that's where my parents are from, Bethlehem and Ramallah. And so a lot of what's cool is like we have this line, this thread that connects us in the diaspora all over the world. So I'll get email from somebody in Chile saying, oh my God, I'm from Bethlehem. And when I made your soup, it tastes exactly the way my grandma made it. And she's from Bethlehem. And so the food is literally a line of communication between us that is nonverbal, but you feel it at your core. And it's kind of hard to translate that. So when it's appropriated left and right and like, yeah, it just really, it's something. Let me tell you.
Yeah. It's fine. I actually have that with what is real Jewish food. I do. Like I do. My grandmother made extremely good matzo ball soup. Like there are certain things that I definitely like. My bubby made this kasha and varnishkas, but like we're talking stuff that was Polish, Austrian, whatever. They were all Yiddish. So yeah, I did like that, and it did smell like familiar.
Right. And I love a good matzo ball soup too.
Exactly. But it's not what Israelis call Israeli food is not Israeli food because there is no Israel.
Well, I don't know if you know this, but there's an interesting book, and it was called How to Cook in Palestine, and it was written by one of the first Zionists that came to Palestine from Europe. Did you hear about this book?
I did. I saw it either mentioned and somebody was talking about it or referenced in a video or a documentary. But yes, they were teaching them how all the white Ashkenazi women, the European women, how to adapt their cooking for that region. Yeah.
Because they were used to cooking with butter and olive oil was very strange to them and very strong tasting. And they had never cooked with things like mint, which we put in pretty much everything. Yeah. And so it went from, we want to learn how to cook. Literally in the book, it says, European women need to learn how to cook in Palestine to become healthier. So we need to learn Palestinian cuisine. And then it went from that to, it's Israeli food. What's Palestine? Never existed, It went from that to what we have today. It's a fascinating book. I read quite a few excerpts from it, and I really realized that this food was really alien to them, and they had to get used to it. And they did get used to it. It's great food, as Peter said. So
you don't have a culinary background. I'm a journalism background too. So I'm trying to think, would I all of a sudden be able to like do cooking? But no.
But I learned hands-on. Like you can't learn this in culinary school. So I learned hands-on from my mom. I meticulously documented from my aunts, from my grandmothers. I did interviews to like learn about like where they procured their ingredients. And so I wanted to make the book as authentic as possible. And so that's where I use my journalism background to be able to document all of this material and put it in a succinct historical way, as well as a cultural way into a book. So that's why I did what I did. And now I've taught cooking classes in culinary schools just because simply they just don't have this in culinary school. So
that's awesome.
It's just a village tribal kind of cuisine, basically.
Yeah. Where are you located?
I'm in Silicon Valley.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Where are you? You're back east? Are you?
I'm in South Florida.
South Florida. Okay.
Yeah.
And I'm in the panhandle of Florida where there is no.
He's just here right now.
Yeah.
It's I know that's a weird thing for him to say he's somewhere else,
just
but
visiting.
he's just here for the night. But yeah.
Nice.
So
Okay. Yeah, I love Florida too.
and being on the West Coast, what has been your experience with Zionism? Because obviously South Florida in particular is really bad. I can imagine the West Coast attitude about this is probably California in general is not a culture in general that I would see it's a lot more laid back. I wouldn't see them really on board with this type of stuff. Whereas on the East Coast in particular, that's where you have a lot more of the rabid Zionists, if you will.
Yeah, I mean, we have a mix, actually. You'd be surprised. So while in the West Coast, they understand the Palestinian point of view, there are definitely deep Zionist areas here definitely, like, because when you think about it, Silicon Valley, a lot of the tech companies do a lot of their core business with Israel. So there are really close connections from Oracle to Google to, I mean, we've got even like Lockheed Martin here. So within these pockets, I mean, you get deeply Zionist communities as well. And you'd be surprised at like the amount of Californians that are like rabid Fox fans but they're not open about it. They have like they're closeted, I guess you could say. They're closeted Fox fans. And so when they hear just that one perspective, sadly, they don't really get the Palestinian perspective, or they dehumanize us in a way. And I've dealt with that too, even in California, believe it or not.
Well,
I think that's everywhere. And I've said it for a long time. It's people don't know people, you know, and I've said this before, there's people who are just so ignorant. If I brought somebody who has never met a Palestinian person and I brought them with me to the Magluba Fest, okay, or whatever, it's like
learning about this Magluba Fest.
Well, I think I'm calling it that. It was a tasting. It was sort of like a cook-off. It was a cook-off, but I call it Magluba Fest. That's just my phrase. But it was they were numbered, and there was a blind tasting, and everybody voted, and it was a whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
But if I brought somebody there and to meet people, they wouldn't be able to leave there with the same perspective that they had coming in. They just wouldn't. And I've met the people that have issues with Muslims. I find this all the time, but they've never met one. Mm-hmm. Or they have, but they don't know that they're Muslim. Like, I'm sure they have, but they don't know. They've never been to a mosque. They've never been to any sort of, Muslim event or community center. Because if you've ever been to those places and have met those people, you wouldn't have that attitude. I think people who talk crap about Iranians, they don't know any. If you knew Iranians, you wouldn't have a position like that about Iranians. So I think a lot of it is completely ignorance.
Actually,
right. Well, sorry. Go ahead.
No, please go ahead.
Go ahead.
Go ahead, Blanche.
I was going to say, I was raised Catholic, and I can't tell you how many times people are shocked. And I'm like, Jesus was not born in Texas. Like, what the hell? Like, I mean, I literally, what my parish church was growing up in Bethlehem was the Church of Nativity. That's where my parents got married.
Oh, wow.
My parents got married. There are pictures of them in the Church of Nativity getting married. That's where I used to go. I didn't even have to deal with as many tourists when I was a kid. We would just go on Sundays with my grandma, and that was it. But it's so hard for people to wrap their minds. They think Bethlehem is like this fictional fairy tale city that is devoid of any Christians, and they don't understand, like, we are the original Christians. That's why there are some people that call us the living stones, I guess, of Christianity, because we're like the direct lineage. And then, just out of curiosity, I got my my DNA checked. 99% from the Levant, like square flat on the Levant.
Yeah.
And so all my cousins and my extended cousins and I was just like, wow, we really are like truly from this region. And they're trying to say that we're from Arabia and we're from, it's really wild. Like people, like you said, they just don't have that information to make a proper assessment before they judge,
No, and people are really kind of just stupid, because at the end of the day, the Levant people, which it's a bigger region, I think, than people realize. I've done enough reading, and the problem is so much of what I've read blurs together. That's the problem. But, anything from, let's say, portion of Iraq up through Syria, Lebanon, Jordan, you you know, the region, right?
Mhm.
Those are some very similar peoples in that region. And it got cut up and broken up into random shapes that the white people decided was, this is how we're going to make this.
Sykes-Picot, yeah, that's it.
Yes, well, and then we said, okay, and we can put these people in charge over here because they'll play games with us. This royal family and this, they'll sell out their own people for us. We can do business with them. But at the end of the day, that region is a pretty solid, different group of people. And what people cannot seem to grasp is that it's separate from the religion.
Mhm.
Okay. So it's, you know, there's all the different people that were there. The second largest Jewish population in West Asia outside of Israel is Iran.
Yes.
Iran has the second largest Jewish population. There's 13 synagogues in Tehran alone.
Wow.
And so people don't really understand that the religion and the culture and the region and all that is a very different thing.
Mhm.
And it's it's ignorance.
You know, do you know the oldest Jewish population that's living in Ramallah to this day? That they're like the Samaritans. Have you heard of them?
Yes, I've heard of the
Oh,
Samaritans.
they're so cool. I got to meet them. And they were like hanging out at our in Ramallah. It's like the YMCA equivalent. Like, you know, kids go there to play
Right.
sports. And they were playing basketball, and I got to meet them. They were like the coolest. And I was asking them, like, why do you prefer living here versus like in Israel proper? And they're like, wait, we don't have anything in common with Israelis. Like, this is where we feel at home, you know, and
Yeah.
they're firmly integrated in the Palestinian population. They're treated with love. And that's how it was. Like, people think, oh, it's complicated. They've been at each other's throats for thousands of years. That's
Nope.
a lot cool. Like, they actually were integrated in the communities, these ancient cultures, civilizations, Jewish cultures, civilizations. And everything was fine until this like crazy, you know, sort of supremacist ideology from Europe came knocking on the door and just like screwing everything up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
100%. And I think that speaks to, you know, we were going to play this clip later, but I think it's actually very relevant now because you mentioned you live in Silicon Valley. You know, Zohran Mamdani winning the mayoral primary in New York City. I've tried to explain to people that this is so beyond a political race. This has more to do with the exposure of the Israeli lobby's stranglehold over our society and how much worse it's gotten now that he's won. Well, I don't know this gentleman's name, and I don't really care what his name is, but he did let the cat out of the bag, which is what we've said all along is the biggest reason that the elites, particularly the Zionists, hate Zohran Mamdani.
Is a fundamentally terrible idea. Someone who has embraced terrorists, like actual convicted terrorists, is a terrible idea. So how he got through, I really don't understand.
That's because you're a pinhead and you have no idea. That's why you don't understand.
Me wearing my Foster Grant glass, you know, or whatever glasses, you know.
I cannot with this man.
Yeah, I, you know, definitely went to, you know, NYU School of Business and the whole 9 yards and everything. I can't understand why a person like myself, who's worth tens of millions of dollars, doesn't have an opinion that is more important than the average person.
Yeah,
that's what I made all this money for.
I don't know how he slipped through the cracks.
Again, talk about transparency. Like, how did this commoner get through? I thought we made sure that that's not possible, especially in New York. I mean, if it can happen in New York, it could happen in San Francisco. It can happen in Denver. It could happen anywhere.
Well, we were hoping it would happen in San Francisco. We were supporting Shahid Buttar multiple times. We were hopeful.
Well, Chayidu's now running against Pelosi and will probably have more money and a better chance, but that's Congress. Just in general, you know, we've said that at the federal level, politics is basically dead. If you want to make change in this country, it's going to happen at the local level. That's why winning a mayoral election in the biggest city in the world, frankly, it's going to have reverberating effects in a lot of other places. But that's not the only stupid thing that came out of this guy's mouth. He actually got even worse.
And my understanding is that a lot of people have buyer's remorse because the Democrats did a terrible job on opposition research on him during the primary. My team, as soon as we realized that he was probably going to win months before the primary, this was no surprise to us. We started doing the opposition research, and now we've gotten it out.
Okay, so clearly we missed something at the beginning when we played it, but here's what he actually was going to say.
Having a mayor who one of his platforms is to divest from Israeli companies when we have $26 billion of Israeli private equity money in our economy is a.
And there it is.
That's it.
Boom! Over the target right there.
Isn't that nice? I love it when they're so transparent.
How
They
could
can't
we?
read the room, honestly. They can't read the room, you know?
26 billion. I know you're going to enjoy this. $26 billion with a B, 26 billion with a B. We have invested with Israel. It's a big deal, really big deal.
You're really good at that.
He does a few of them really well. He does.
Yeah, that's really, yeah. You got to get the whole outfit and just do videos. Just, you know.
He's done that too. He has a mask when he's at his place.
I also have to say, Blanche or whatever you call yourself.
Yeah, you said my name right, Blanche.
Oh, well,
Not all girls Blanche. It's just Blanche. Rhymes with
No,
Blanche.
he's being in character. You have to hear it. He's being in character.
Oh, okay. Go ahead.
I've always told Jen she has to be very careful bringing attractive women on the podcast because, you know, Slick Willie gets a little out of control here and there. But all jokes aside,
Oh, God.
what we've been saying, I'm glad you get a kick out of it.
Sorry.
But all jokes aside, the biggest issue here is that people still want to pretend, and we have been saying this ever since we started this podcast, there is no grand conspiracy here. Everything is about money and power, and Israel has a shitload of it. And that is the biggest reason why the powers that be in this country are willing to overlook a genocide. Because in the end, I guarantee you the overwhelming majority of them don't agree with it. But if they're invested in it, they'll look the other way. It's like, yeah, they really suck. And you know, I could tell you from personal experience, most people do not like Israelis. Like they don't like them as people.
Nobody likes Israelis but Israelis.
But they will do business with them because there's a lot of money involved. If you go into the working class part of San Francisco, if you go into even the rough parts of Oakland, who do you think owns those apartment buildings?
BlackRock.
And who is involved with BlackRock?
Israel.
There you go. That's it. It's not a secret.
The thing is, you know what really what's really like tormented me these past 2 years is that why is there so many soulless people? Like right now, if somebody told you, I'm going to give you $1 million, but this $1 million is going to translate to like thousands of children starving to death and decapitated kids with their heads blown off every single. Would you take that $1 million? I would be like, hell no.
Where can I sign? No, where can I sign up? I'll take it.
No, but I've been working for free for 10 years for this shit. So, you know, I'm not the best person to ask. So I don't, apparently it's not my priority.
But Blanche, you have to remember, it's not even that much. People sell out for a hell of a lot less.
Right. For like a couple of 100,000. It's so sad and pathetic. It really is. Yeah. Like, let me tell you, if I saw in my live feed Israeli children getting starved to death and decapitated every single day in my phone, like I do, there's not a day I don't, you know, turn on Instagram.
That's me every day. I spare you.
I would lose my mind. Like I would never want to see any children dealing, and that's why I'm like, they're villainizing Miss Rachel, for crying out loud. Like, what the hell? Like my mind is exploding every day. Like you guys are literally trying to say Miss Rachel's with Hamas and stuff. Like
I know, but let me tell you, I'm actually glad they picked on her.
Yeah,
I'm glad they went after Miss Rachel.
Yeah,
because they messed with the wrong person, and now she's constantly talking about something on her platform that she wasn't really talking about on her platform.
True.
So they really messed with the wrong person. They're really digging their own grave with their whole ideology by calling out so many beloved people. You know, and not to mention people like Miss Rachel, and I've said it before, she has fuck you money. She doesn't care.
Yeah, it's awesome. That's what's awesome about her. You're right.
Yeah, she doesn't care. And when you mess with people like that, and apparently she, you know, is a kid teacher and is a little kid person, but I get the sense that she got enraged and is now just like, all right, well, now you messed with the wrong person. So now she's making it her mission.
She's braver than Elon Musk. Elon Musk has money. But look at what he did.
Yeah, but he's a greedy, but he's a greedy pig.
Because
He's
remember,
also a sociopath. That's the difference, I guess. too,
Yes,
right?
that's also a big difference. Yes.
and Blanche, if you remember when this first happened, Elon was against the genocide, but
Right.
he got his mind right real fast when they dragged him over to the wall. Now,
Right.
do yourself a favor and kiss the wall,
the wall.
and put your hand on it and show how much you love Israel.
Do you know that at the wall, what you do is you write a prayer on a piece of paper and you roll it up and you put it into the wall.
Yeah, I'd imagine I
They
wouldn't.
Give me a piece of paper to put in the wall when I went and visited, and they wouldn't let me in. So
When was that?
that was in 2019.
Oh, okay. So like more recent history. Cause like when I
Yeah.
was there, it was 1987. I was there before the first right before the first Intifada.
Oh,
And
wow.
so it wasn't as security. You didn't have separate roads. You didn't have the wall. You didn't have, it wasn't like that yet.
Yeah, that they did this arbitrary thing where like, we can't let you in. I'm like, but I have this prayer here I want to put in for my friend. They're like, no. So I'm like, all right, whatever.
Blanche, how do you, two questions. One, how were you personally affected by this? Did you have any family or friends that were directly affected? And how do you see this ending? Because we are of the mind that the state of Israel is going to collapse. Like, it's inevitable. It may not happen today, might not even be tomorrow, but it's going to happen sooner rather than later, because the awakening that's happening in this country right now,
Not just in this country, it's global.
all over the world, to me, they are going to run out of real estate. And as long as the powers that be keep thinking that it's a good idea to put people like Daniel Weiss on TV, please keep doing it, because that's going
Yes.
to facilitate their demise that much
Yes.
faster.
Oh yeah, 100%. I agree with you. As far as how it's affected my family's in the West Bank, and so we're checking on them all the time. They can't leave, they can't come, they can't go. Fortunately, they've been, they've had surrounding areas confiscated. There was like this famous restaurant near them that was completely taken over by crazy settlers, and this restaurant has been around for a really long time. They took that over, so we're just checking on them constantly. And so far, and Ramallah hasn't been, other than torching their whole produce market. Like, they had the biggest produce market and they torched it all like last
I
year.
saw that.
That was ridiculous.
I follow a woman named Morgan Cooper who she's American. She lives with her husband and he's Palestinian and their 2 kids. And I know all this because she has a Instagram or a thing that I follow, but she works with the organization Handmade Palestine. I don't know if you've heard of it.
Handmade Palestine, yes. Yeah, I know.
It's the local artisans. It's local artisans and stuff like that. And I know they live in Ramallah. And so she was at that market like a few days after it had been on fire and was like showing the footage of it. And it's just, and the resilience is unbelievable, because the vendors were still there with their stuff, selling their stuff, like it's this concept of resilience and connectedness to something greater than oneself is not something that the Israelis understand, and they have no honor. It's actually not something that most white people, unfortunately, understand, because it really does have to do with your connection with the universe being greater than yourself. And we're not taught that. And that's a big problem. But
You're so insightful. Like, you just nailed it right there. Like, there's this like super deep connection to the land, to the dirt, to like, they know all of these agricultural practices that have been honed through hundreds of years, and they have such a reverence for the land, right? Whereas the state of Israel is the exact opposite. All they do is destroy and destroy and destroy. And Palestinians like to plant and to build and to build. Like, literally, they'll go in through Ramallah. Even when I was there, they went on this rampage. There's like a central fountain in that city, and they just went and wrecked it all, And then the municipality in Ramallah came and rebuilt it like literally the next day. They're like, screw that. Like, but it's just like, they shouldn't have to live this way. Like, no one should have to live this way, where imagine like your home is torn down and you rebuild it and then it's torn. Like, why can't they just live in dignity? It's been like 80 years. But like you said, I think the tide has shifted more than anything I've ever seen in my lifetime.
Yes.
Right now, I feel like, it's not all contingent upon Netanyahu, but I really feel like he is so savvy with the Western audience. Like, we see through him, the younger generation sees through him, but the Fox viewers don't, and there's like a lot of our Congress people that give him standing ovations. But when he's gone and he has like he's got a lot of health problems. He's not going to live forever. When he's gone, he's going to replace him that is going to be remotely likable to American politicians, because the reason why we give them what we give them is American politicians are willing to work with him. I don't see anyone that can maneuver American politics as well as he does, because he's been at this for so long. I mean, they call it a democracy, but he's been in power now for like 3 decades, 30 years. It's
we know it's not a democracy. That's not a democracy.
Yeah, but it's just like, I don't know. Do you think that it'll change once he's out of there? Or do you think?
No.
Yeah.
I think it won't change until Israel is lanced off the earth like a boil of humanity. And that's what's going to need to happen.
Jen getting biblical on
I
this.
can't help myself. First of all, well, you know what? During the Passover Seder, boils was always my favorite of the plagues. But I do, it's really, they're not capable of coexisting on the planet with the rest of us. They're just not. And I wish it were a Netanyahu problem. And don't get me wrong. I hope he gets what he has coming with him. And in my karmic universe, he will get what's coming to him. But
I hope so.
It isn't that. I wish it were that simple. But you're talking 80-something% of those people support what's going on. This is not a society that can be fixed, remedied, worked with. These are rabid, radical people that cannot coexist on this planet peacefully with the rest of us. Now, how we handle that, I don't know.
There's indoctrination. Like, how do we stop this indoctrination? It's just so like embedded from the moment that they're born,
Well, it's changing.
Yes, because I was indoctrinated, not from like necessarily the moment I was born, but yeah. And yes, that is exactly what it is. And nothing is going to happen peacefully. That's what I know. And at some point when the rest of the world gets tired of our nonsense, and maybe the dollar isn't the US hegemon isn't the big thing anymore, and the dollar isn't running things, and the rest of the world says enough is enough, they'll go in there with enough force to protect at whatever they can protect that's left there. But at the end of the day, this isn't going to just happen.
There has to be a reckoning for what Israel and their supporters in this country and abroad have done. It will not happen, as I said, today or tomorrow. And I truly feel a deep anger is probably the best way to describe it, because I could be sad, but I'm just angry.
It's called rage. That's why I have it. Like today, I was at like a 13 on the rage-o-meter.
Like, let's put it this way. I'm in South Florida right now, and there's a guy who lives in Miami that if I had the opportunity to have him for 5 minutes, I'd probably kill him.
Oh my God.
Like,
everybody who knows us knows who you want to go beat up in Miami.
Wow.
He is.
They have what, Yitzhak Rabin Boulevard and all the, right? Like, don't they have all that?
Well, this is a guy who I have to tell you, like, he's psychotic. Like, he's a psychotic Zio. Like, he really.
That's what do you call it? That's redundant.
On top of being a complete and utter pussy. But let's keep in mind that this is a guy who was begging Trump to bomb Iran. Like, that's what he was saying. He's saying, F this, F that. We didn't listen when it came to Iraq. We didn't listen when it came to Libya. Like, the guy's nuts. Like, he's out of his mind. And he presents himself as like the biggest Democrat in the world. Like, you can't imagine this guy can't get his nose out of Debbie Wasserman Schultz's ass.
You're not going to be happy until you beat the crap out of him.
I really want to hurt him. Like, I really do. He really needs it.
Well, if he's up Debbie Wasserman Schultz's ass, I feel sorry for him.
I was going to say, that's punishment enough.
That is a huge punishment right there.
But I will tell you that
Jennifer's not sitting in her spot right now deeply enrages me to this day.
Well, you know what?
Were you following our campaign?
Oh, you were awesome. Yeah, I was so excited about your energy. I just thought you were the best thing that ever happened to Florida. And then, and then that happened. And I was like, what the? Like, who would vote for Debbie Wasserman Schultz? Like, who?
This guy, he wants to beat the crap out of, is representative of that.
Talking about instrumental in putting that horrible woman in power again. I mean,
people like him. He actually lives. He's a Dade County person, but he's one of the sycophantic type people. He's very representative of a lot of the voters and the people that do support her.
I don't know too much about. I've never been to San Francisco, so I can't really, or San Jose. I can't really speak to that region pertaining to whether or not, I know how. I mean, I'm in commercial real estate. I know the type of real estate that's out there, but I don't know if these neighborhoods are necessarily as secluded as a significant portion of the congressional district.
Right, gated communities. We have a lot of gated communities.
So gated, and the worst part is that the gated portion of the district, they all vote. And so if you want to get to them, on top of the fact that so many of them are Zionists, it basically becomes like, you would almost think that her running as an independent in the general election might have served an even better purpose than running in the Democratic primary, because of how, first of all, she threatens people with their livelihoods constantly. That's how she stays in power.
She bullies and blackmails.
100%.
wow.
And in addition, there are a lot of people that just suck up to her because they want to be a part of the show. They want to be in the club. And even though the Democratic Party is basically dead in the state of Florida, and she has as much to do with it as anybody, you still get people like this guy, Evan, who I will tell you, we were at an event for this mayoral race in this town.
Are you still talking about Evan Ross?
I'm just pointing out.
You listening, Evan Ross? Is that his name?
He did a whole show about him. It's not a secret. He even pulled up his picture. Oh,
okay.
Well, he took a picture. He posted a picture on Insta. This is a public picture. He posted a picture on Instagram with him, Barry Weiss, and Michael Rappaport. I'm like, okay, you want to do that? I'm going to put you out there on blast, baby.
Exactly. This is the person he's talking about.
So we're at this event, and I'm telling you, this was like 4 or 5 months into the whole thing. And he's walking around with that fucking dog tag on his neck. I was looking at Jen. I said, if he even looks at me, I'm going to pound him in this fucking room. Like, I'm not even going to wait. I want him to say something to me because I've been in fistfights before. So I had this rage.
You get in a fight
with he's like, no, I'm just kidding.
Him?
Did you say
the one thing I will say is that he is a Zionist, but he at least is a dark-skinned, dark-eyed, dark-haired guy. So he's not totally like some Eastern Euro Ashkenazi, but
Peter's definitely whiter.
Oh, 100%.
I mean, he's white.
Yeah. But this guy, to me, there are tens of thousands of guys like him that are out there. Like they're out there.
Unfortunately, they're down here.
And this is the other thing that I've always felt is also emblematic of the whole Zionist movement. The ones that are the loudest and most bloodthirsty are typically the weakest men. They're typically men that can't handle themselves physically around other men. They frankly are probably also abusive towards women. And it's just it's a reflection of
cowardice,
of common cowardice behavior. And so a guy like that talks big and loud about killing innocent people online because it's safe to do it there. But if he stood in a crowd of people like me surrounding him, he's not going to talk like that.
No.
And that is where the whole concept, Randy Fine would be a great example of Evan Ross with an extra 200 pounds put on.
Right. He's definitely a lot. He's like
Randy Fine, and dare I say, he's even worse than Schultz, isn't he? I mean, he's just horrid. He's horrid.
He's more outward spoken. Like, he says a lot more blatantly disgusting, bigoted shit out loud. But in terms of the effect, 6 of one, half a dozen of the other.
There are people.
It's okay with everything. It's really insane.
Like, we had our a friend of ours on the other night who is considering challenging him in the GOP primary in that district, which would be really, really good. Because this is someone that there's a lot of things we don't agree with him on, but he is anti-Zio, anti-interfering in war, and anti-supporting Israel. Right. I could work with that.
No brainer there, right? Compared
to your equivalent where you are would be Adam Schiff. Adam Schiff is the Wasserman Schultz equivalent in California. I mean, you have Brad Sherman in Los Angeles. He's another one. And of course, you've got, you want
to know why Schiff keeps gaining power here? It's the weirdest reason. And this is what somebody offered up to me, and it might be true.
Well, what's your theory?
The Armenian community votes for Schiff. The
No,
Armenian.
that's not the reason.
That's
Well,
what's
that very well could be true, but that's not necessarily the reason that he stayed. Is that how big is the Armenian community?
well, we've got like 250,000 in Fresno alone. Got 250,000.
And why are the Armenians? What is that? This is something I will not know the politics.
There's something like he connects himself on a grassroots level to the Armenian community, and he's been doing it for years. And I just don't understand. Yeah, maybe he gives them, a lot of them are farmers, like they grow all the beautiful grapes here in California. They're incredible. Like they're incredible at agriculture. Perhaps he's giving them agricultural based. I don't know.
Well, he does a lot of that stuff, but the two benefit. Are you familiar with Stu and Linda Resnick? Do you know who they are?
No.
You don't know who the Resnicks are?
Okay.
Oh, wait, the Resnicks, the Palm people. Oh, hell yeah. They are. Yeah.
Okay, so now this is where this goes.
Lost their names out of my mind just because they were so revolting. Yeah.
So the fact that the entire story premise of Chinatown is basically based off of these two sick fucks that have been around forever. They who have monopolized the water supply in California for obvious reasons, to get rich, which they did, and of course screwed over the entire Central Valley as a result. Surprising. They have been Schiff's like mega benefactor forever.
Wow.
And when you have the uber billionaire class that controls California agriculture supporting your political career, that's how a person with no personality and a pencil neck on top of everything else is able to ascend the ladder in politics. He has no personality, like zero. And yet, unlike somebody like Katie Porter, who of course went to the freaking dark side with her Zionism bullshit, she at least has a personality, and I can understand why people were interested in her. But Adam Schiff, absolutely not. And of course, it was proven.
It's the pistachio people.
The pistachio people,
yeah.
The pomegranate people.
Oh, people thought you said palm. He meant POM. We meant the POM palm for pomegranate because that is also their business as well.
Yeah.
But
almonds. They did
a bunch of stuff, but their primary, it's the same people. The POM people, not the PALM, not the palm. I think they thought you meant like palm.
Oh no, like palm wonderful. POM.
Right. Yes, it's them.
Yeah.
And we also have to. One of the true silver linings to the Trump presidency is that the mask has been fully removed now. Like anyone who's looking, even at somebody who's halfway decent like Ro Khanna, just understand the mask is off now. Mm-hmm. These are just pawns on a chessboard. The kings, queens, rooks, and knights, you can't see them. They're the ones on the behind the curtain, but now the curtain's been lifted. And now you can see who these people are. Now you can see who Alex Karp is. Now you can see who Peter Thiel is. Now you can see.
I don't know that you can see. Peter Thiel looks like a lizard man.
Well, he does look like a lizard man, but
he needs to shed that skin, man. He needs
all that money and he can't get a facial.
It's terrible.
But that also goes to show you that for the longest time, no one knew who these masters of the universe were. Now they're knowing who they are. Now they're knowing there really isn't anybody behind them, that these are really the people that are controlling the entire thing. And these are people like Alex Karp, who has been on record saying, oh, yeah, I'm totally helping Israel commit a genocide. And we're going to make a lot of money doing it. So there's your enemy. Yes, the federally elected officials suck too, but they're just pawns. You remove, if you're going CEO of... That's so bad. Well, to be fair, that was one thing that Tim Dillon. If you don't know who Tim Dillon's a very good comedian, and he's a gay man like Peter Thiel is, and he joked one time when he was doing a podcast that like, Peter Thiel just keeps trying to invite me over to his place, and so it's the whole. Everything with Epstein, the whole operation, everything that goes on, it's all this clandestine blackmail, control everybody at all costs for the purpose of money and power. And I think we're evolving into a point where, as I said, it doesn't happen today, it doesn't happen tomorrow, but over time, that level of control of the entire system is going to be broken. As much as people look at this and say, well, look at the billionaire class, they have control of everything. Yeah, but that's when tens of millions of people start to look at the system and say, I ain't playing in this sandbox anymore. You have insider trading that's done deliberately on a day-to-day basis, and people looking at it and saying, why should I pay my taxes?
You shouldn't.
What am I doing?
Yes,
Why
you
am I supposed to follow the law when they're not?
We
Why do
shouldn't.
we have Gestapo out in the street every day dragging people that they're in many cases are not even undocumented? I know you don't want me to say illegal.
I don't like I don't like any of that. It's disgusting. They're pulling people. They're fucking kidnapping people.
And that is why you've also said that we're also living in a police state, because these what the cop cities were.
I'm not saying that. It is because it is.
But
Well,
if we
they're
get,
investing more and more in basically, I mean, I'm sure you've talked about on your show the imperial boomerang concept. Like, I feel like all Americans think they're protected from what's happening all the way in the Middle East.
Yes.
But it's just a matter of time before they employ all of these tactics here with this drone warfare, surveillance, all of that. I mean, they can see people inside their homes in the West Bank, what they're doing on any given day. Who's to say they're not going to do that here, you know?
Who's to say they're not doing that here
Already. And they're employing all of these like robots in downtown. Like I just heard the other day, there's like all these robots in downtown San Francisco. I'm not sure why. It was for something like friendly. That's how they try to bring in the technology. And then before you know it, they're used for who knows what, like for some kind of
it's RoboCop. This is gonna be, it's gonna get worse before it gets better. And Israel in particular has been using our military industrial complex in such a way as an experimental laboratory on Palestinians since the beginning of the ethno state. So what happened, and not only in the terms that the IDF trains a lot of our police and is involved in a lot of our military infrastructure, and there's a lot of intertwinement. But the bigger issue is that those are the IDF and that whole military complex of what they're doing there is often testing different things to then use here. And especially what we're seeing in the increase in the cop cities. There's more than 100 of them slated around the country. This is in response to, I mean, technically it was after, Black Lives Matter and a lot of that stuff happened, but they've been planning this for a long time. Mm-hmm. They sense the unrest and they're preparing for it. So I absolutely believe that what is happening in Palestine will be happening here.
Oh, 100%. People think they're protected by it. They're not. And the more they allow this to happen, it's just going to fester and haunt us in the worst way possible. So
let me ask you, how is this, or has this, not just being Palestinian, but just taking any sort of position on what's going on right now? Because it's unrelated really to what you're doing, to your program. So how has that been? Have you had any sort of like pushback from being vocal about what's going on?
Oh, many times. Well, I'm in this conundrum right now where I have a food channel right now and my people are being starved to death. And so it's just like, okay, yeah, sharing our culture is so important. And I've literally I have put up videos about Palestine and what's going on. And then I'll have people respond, this is a food channel. I didn't come here for politics, And I understand that, but it's just like, you can't shut down. How do I disassociate and be like, oh, well, they're starving to death. Oh, well, this is what we're cooking today. You know what I mean? I can't compartmentalize human suffering. And I don't know why so many people are able to do that. And that's what I'm having a big problem with right now. And honestly, I almost was like, I need to go back into journalism because this is such a catastrophic time. This is unprecedented. I've never seen anything so horrid in my life. I can't think about it night and day. Everyone in my family, there's not a day that goes by where I'm not just bawling my brains out, just freaking out, just ultra anxiety. I'm losing my mind. I try to keep it cool. I've got kids. I got to keep it cool for them.
Yeah. Do you have littles?
No, they're older, but okay. It's just they're having, they have their own set of anxieties and they know what's going on. And they have, at that age, like there's this sense of like, is the world coming to an end? Like, why even bother doing what I'm doing? Why even work towards what I'm working towards? Like,
It's a
this
great
world
point.
is imploding, you know what I mean?
Well, we can conclude on this note. You know, everyone says that I don't want to talk about politics. Well, guess what? Either you do politics or politics is going to do you. So you
Everything
make a
is
choice.
politics. That's the thing. There's no
Mhm.
avoiding it. And I think a good answer when your kids ask is like, is the world ending? I don't think so, but I do hope that we're going to see the end to American empire and that the Zio state will also go with it. The Zio state cannot exist without America being the empire. Right.
They're interconnected.
And a lot of these things are happening simultaneously. So we are definitely seeing the Zio state overextend itself. And at the same time, we see things like BRICS and the Hague Group getting together to try to circumvent American empire. So we do see things that are happening in different facets around the world that are going to bring it to an end. And unfortunately, it's not in time to save Palestinian people because at this point, the majority of people there are already in a process of starvation that can't even be reversed.
Right.
And
It's like level 5 famine right now. Meaning
Yes.
if food is introduced into their diet, they won't survive.
Exactly.
which is all the more reason why we have to be looking into the future in terms of how we're going to deal with Israel. Like this is a genocidal nation that has long been walking that fine line where they were going to fully expose themselves as the psychopaths that they are, and that they are going to ultimately be rejected, maybe not by the powers that be, but the American people are starting to firmly reject Israel. Now the question is, how do we bring as many people together to fight on that front to make sure
it's
that
global?
it
You've got to
happens?
stop saying it's an
Yes,
American thing.
But it is an American thing because we're the ones funding it.
Well, we're the ones funding it, but as it all is happening at the same time, we need to be imploding from the inside, but the rest of the world needs to be conspiring on the outside. Like I just think all things need to be happening.
Well, that's why channels like yours are so important in getting the word out. Like, I don't know about you, but when I've tried to post things on my channel, like they get completely demonetized and like suppressed so that barely anyone sees them.
We've been there.
So
It's taken us a long time to get,
I will say that much, you know,
Well,
but
keep spreading the word. And guys, if you are not subscribed to Blanche's channel, learn a thing or two about Palestinian cuisine because it's really good.
it's a culture thing.
It is. But that is the best thing about diverse cultures, whether you're in,
It's always about the food.
well, the food is very important. But if you're in the Bay Area, if you're in South Florida, if you're in New York, if you're in Chicago, there's plenty of places that you can go. And as much as many people may not necessarily like the elements of capitalism that dominate these places, there is culture there. And culture is where it's at. And Palestinian culture, despite what Israel has been trying to do for the better part of 3 generations, it is a beautiful culture. And it must be maintained no matter what happens in Gaza and the West.
And that's the thing. And that's what, so the hubris of the Zionists, and they're the same way how they talk about Iran. Like, we're going to take, Iran's been there for 3,200 years and we're going to just we're going to just get rid of them. Like, we're the caucasity, right?
Indeed.
So the way we talk about, it's so interesting the way we talk about these cultures, like we're going to be able to eliminate them. No. The Palestinians are still going to be around, not just to mention the fact that there's the diaspora grouping, but it's like, that's a culture deeply connected to like the middle of the universe. Like it's in the center of the earth. It's sort of like, and it's just really the hubris. It's because they'll be long gone. The Zio state will be long gone. And they have no concept that that's coming. It's like, the emperor has no clothes kind of thing.
Hold on tight, Blanche, and we can't thank you enough for obviously coming on this evening. And obviously all the best to your family in the West Bank. We do what we do to help circumstances like the one that your family's in. So hopefully we will find a resolution to this situation sooner rather than later. And obviously all the best in the meantime.
Thank you. I appreciate you both. And I really hope your channel takes off beyond your wildest imagination. I love.
We're working it.
We're working it.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Blanche. It was so nice to meet you.
Have a great evening.
Bye.
You too.
Very sweet lady. And
She
guys,
was
links
lovely.
are in the description. So make sure that you check out the channel if you can.
Yeah, all
And-
of her stuff will be in the description.
Well, as you guys know, we are doing our part.
No,
We are.
no, you put the wrong logo.
You don't like that one?
That's not the right thing. You got to do the overlay, not the logo.
Wait, where?
Go down. Can you?
Yes?
No. Just stop touching everything.
Uh,
You're out of your element, Donnie.
No.
What did you do with my
I didn't
thing?
do shit.
You did something with
I
it
didn't
because
do
it
anything.
isn't this one.
I don't think there's anything wrong with that one.
That's too small.
That is, and it's black.
Okay,
That's
but that's
visible.
too small. That's the small one. The other one is gone. You killed it.
I didn't do shit.
There was something
Maybe
there.
Colin's got something for us.
Don't
that we just
blame-
can't see.
No,
I'm
no.
saying, what I'm saying is that
There was an overlay, and now it's gone. You
Colin, if there's an overlay, please.
Just
Are you
continue. Just
God,
let
you're
it
like
be.
a child.
I'm a child. You're like
Yeah,
touching
you
all the
are.
buttons. Just
Patreon.com/revolutionary change. If you like this silly little banter,
it's ridiculous. You're just so in my personal space.
for as little as $5 a month, you can become a supporter of our small but mighty and growing channel. We've had some decent numbers tonight, although guys have been hopping around, I'm sure, to a few different shows, but we appreciate everybody being here at all times. Prime Time Ray, great to see you, sir. Thank you for the $2. Hey, Jen and Peter, it's been a while. My channel is back. Football season right around the corner. Go G-Men. I don't know about those Dolphins. How about those Dolphins?
I don't want to talk about it.
Cheetah, thank you so much for the $5. Israel is evil at the highest level. Could not
Truth.
agree more.
Yep.
Kenman, thank you again for the $2.79 Canadian A. Peter and Jen have great chemistry.
Get out of my weed.
That smells delicious.
Peter and Jen tolerate each other for 5 years now.
JM,
More.
thank you so much for the $2. Every contribution obviously counts, but some contributions are more than others. And of course, one of our favorites, JG1982, gifting 5 revolutionary change memberships, despite what that says. And thank you so very, very much. Manwith with the $2. Enoch. I don't see him, Jen. Where is he?
I don't know. The last few times I've seen him has been outside. He goes between the attached garage and this detached garage and this little patio in between. That's sort of like his kingdom. But I don't want him to be in here when I'm in here. Stop summoning him.
The Progressive Lefty, always a pleasure. Thank you for checking in with the $6.99 Canadian A. Great show with a great guest, and I love when Peter gets feisty. Feisty with a show with a great guest, and I love it when Peter gets feisty.
Okay, so this is the kind of thing that happens to me when I put things and try to super chat, especially on my tablet. You end up like retyping because you go back to like fix something. You don't realize you retype it.
Oh, you never know. All kidding aside. Make sure, again, patreon.com/revolutionary change. For as little as $5 a month, you can become a supporter there. If anything happens to our channel here on YouTube, just know that, as far as we know, Patreon, we should at least be safe. That is, being a little presumptuous, but
And the truth is, if we had to use that as a primary, we can put our content on there. I mean, it is a possibility.
would we be able to live stream there, I think is the question.
No, I don't think so. I don't know that. Maybe. I don't think so. I've never seen that as an option.
Guys, we're going to do a very important story now.
We are?
We are. I don't know if you guys know who Mordechai Vanunu is.
Vanunu?
Yeah, Mordechai Vanunu.
Vanunu?
He is Israel's
that.
nuclear hostage. I don't know if you've seen this story going around, but this is an old school one, but it's very important.
Exposed Israel's secret nuclear weapons program. He spent more than 18 years in prison for leaking top secret documents, and he's one of the world's most well-known whistleblowers. This is the story of Mordechai Vanunu.
I'm nuclear hostage since they kidnapped me from Rome. In 1986, I'm a hostage for nuclear weapons.
Born in Morocco to a religious Sephardic Jewish family, Vanunu moved to Israel at age 10. As an adult, he worked for 9 years as a technician at the Negev Nuclear Research Center, where his supervisors noted his left-wing pro-Arab beliefs.
Oh, so automatically, if you support Arabs, you're automatically left-wing. And they say that in the context of him being a bad person. What are we doing?
Now the thing is back again.
Ah, that's right. But that only happens when only two people are. You getting it now? The
I
red
am.
background has.
No, I am getting it now, but I don't want to have to do that every time. So just cope.
I'm not coping over anything.
Are
you actually contributing to this segment or no?
I don't know.
No?
I might. Keep going.
In 1982, he opposed Israel's invasion of Lebanon and founded a group promoting Palestinian rights in Israel. In 1986, after resigning from the facility, he leaked 57 photos of Israel's clandestine nuclear reactor to the Sunday Times in the UK, providing the first concrete evidence that Tel Aviv was producing nuclear weapons without signing the Non-Proliferation Treaty or allowing international inspection.
So gross. That guy's so disgusting.
So who is this guy again?
I forget his name. He's the guy who sits at the UN at the Security Council for Israel. I don't know his name. He's the person who was always sitting at the council. And while everybody's like pleading for lives of children, he's sitting there like on his phone, ignoring them.
Well, anytime I see somebody wearing that stupid yellow ribbon,
I want to rip it.
Automatically suspect them for being a total murderous psycho.
I want to rip it out of their fucking jackets.
Thank you, Blanche. Danny Dannon is his name. Interesting. Scum Sucker of the Year.
Yeah. I just know I've seen him in the council.
I'm proud and happy to do what I did. I'm very glad that I succeed to do what I did.
His revelations led experts to estimate that Israel illegally possesses between 80 and 200 nuclear warheads, making it the sixth largest nuclear power in the world and the only one in the Middle East.
And that's a problem. And the fact that it's been clandestine is what's really very frustrating about it. And that nobody addresses it, but yet everybody is sitting here like freaking out over the fact that Iran might have a nuclear program at all, let alone weapons. Like as if that's any of our concern.
This is also one of the reasons why I'm convinced that there were many factors as to why Kennedy was assassinated, but one of the primary drivers was that he was trying to take away our power structure that we were attempting to build in the Middle East. And that is why when he did not want David Ben-Gurion orchestrating a nuclear program, they decided that, well, how does LBJ feel about Israel? As it turns out, maybe, you could say Trump is the most pro-Israel, but really it's all transactional. And in the case of LBJ, he was as pro-Israel as you could possibly be. And obviously what happened with the USS Liberty in 1967 is a primary example of that. Everyone talks about the 6-day war, but in reality, the USS Liberty attack is the real story from that period in June of 1967. There is no question that there is an element to the Kennedy assassination that does involve Israel and does involve LBJ. Too much smoke for there not to be any
think
fire.
At this point, it's like safe to say that every corrupt scandal, like international type problem that we've had in this country since the formation of the Zio state has been tied to the Zio state. That's what it feels like.
Oh, in a very big way, Dan Gale, in a very big way.
Immediately after publication, Mossad lured Vanunu to Rome, where he was drugged, abducted, and illegally extradited to Israel. He was sentenced to 18 years for treason after a secret trial, spending 11 of those years in solitary confinement.
And that's a democracy.
Could you imagine?
But yet Israel is a democracy?
11 years in solitary confinement. I'm surprised they didn't give him a razor blade to get him to kill himself. Could you imagine?
Yes, I do, because that's how we're talking about a nation with zero honor.
That's for sure.
As a human being, I have the right to express my political views, my ideas. I have no more any secret. The only one who have secret is Israel government. Israel government has nuclear weapons and they have this secret. I don't have any more secret.
To this day, he remains barred from leaving Israel, is harassed by security forces, and is prohibited from speaking to journalists and foreigners without permission. After more than 40 years of Israeli repression, Amnesty International describes him as a prisoner of conscience.
So yeah, he's like Assange, but for 40 years.
But Iran is definitely the more dangerous of the two nations.
Well, they don't concern me. So, I don't know. I am not, Iran has not attacked another country in over 200 years. So I don't have concerns about Iran having a nuclear weapon. That's not my, and more importantly, even if I did, that's not my problem. It's none of my fucking business.
It's nobody's business.
My future is going to be outside of Israel. As we saw in the last days, there is hate and danger even to my life here. So I have no future in this Israel state.
Amazing.
I mean, it is and it isn't. I mean, I get it, but I will say this, that's somebody we know of. That's just somebody we know of. Places like the Zio-Nazi state, which is really not any different than American Empire. It's part of American Empire. It's a tentacle of American Empire. We have all sorts of political prisoners that are being held in places that aren't supposed to exist and in ways that are a violation of international law as well as our own laws. That's what I know. So
who is not wearing the ribbon? Maybe we need to show them.
Oh, the yellow. Okay, well, yellow ribbons are generally always about bringing people home from a war. So there used to be the song, tie a yellow ribbon around the old oak tree. And it had to do with the soldiers going away to war. And you would tie a yellow ribbon until they came home from the war. So this particular yellow ribbon that we've been seeing this go around has to do with the hostages. The hostages, which at this point, it isn't hostages. Whoever is left, from my understanding, are IDF. Those are, prisoners of war. And if you want to keep calling it a war, at best. So no, but that's the yellow ribbon. It's to bring the hostages home in a maudlin way of presenting it.
And TPS reports is right that we had a very good relationship, or Israel had a very good relationship with Iran when Iran was basically a Western capitalist
because they were a vassal state of us.
Mm-hmm.
They were playing ball with us. They weren't their own thing. Yes. And now that they are who they want to be and they don't play ball with us, we can't have that.
Even if they don't want the Shah anymore, and my understanding from a good friend who has family in Tehran, that they do not want the Shah running their country. They do not want Islamic fundamentalism as a basic practice for millions of people in the nation. However, they do not want the West taking over their country. And one of the biggest reasons why Iran is a sworn enemy is because Iran doesn't do business with the United States and doesn't really want to. And that's their business. You see, we only care about Iran because Iran is rich.
For the same reason we care about Africa.
100%.
We want to dominate it and own it and control it.
Wait,
and
you
manipulate
need to tell
it.
me we don't care about Burkina Faso? Is that what you're suggesting?
I'm saying
I think we care a lot about them.
We want to free the people from that tyrant down there who wants to give them, the riches of their own country.
Indeed. And why would they not want to do that for us? I mean, aren't we the greatest nation on earth?
It's just I feel like the more I see it, it's almost embarrassing. It is. It's almost embarrassing. Like I can't even believe some of the shit that I hear people say about, like, especially in relation to Iran. The level of ignoramus about Iran is huge. Huge.
It
is. And for people who are new, a few weeks back, I did a bunch of little fun facts about Iran. But the key thing that we need to really stress here is that what a sovereign nation does or does not do within its own borders that is not a threat to us is none of our business. It's none of our business. And the only reason it would be our business is because we want to control and manipulate their resources, their government, whatever they have going on there. Make sure that they bow down to the dollar. That's why it's our business, but it isn't really our business. And that's the problem. And quite honestly, I'd feel a whole hell of a lot more trusting with Iran having a nuclear weapon than with Israel having nuclear weapons, because Israel is comprised of a bunch of psychopathic genocidal maniacs, and Iran has not attacked another country or another people in more than 200 years. So I think that Iran having the nuclear weapon does not concern me anywhere near as much as it concerns me that Israel has one. So that's just my personal opinion.
I don't know how where you can blow this up, but I want people to be able to see this last story.
I'd love to get Professor Mandani on. It's Professor Morandi. The reason that I haven't reached out to him, quite honestly, is because he's in Tehran, and the time difference is really it's very significant. And not just that, but this is something, I don't know if you know this about Iran.
What?
There's this thing about Iran. Iran is on the half hour.
What does that mean?
It means that they're 8.5 hours ahead of us.
How is that possible?
Yeah. See, and therein is my beef with the Iranians. Tell me that, Iranians. How is that possible? I don't completely understand it. It's sort of like when I lived in Indianapolis, and Indianapolis doesn't do daylight savings time, but the rest of this state does. It's one of those things. Iran is at the halftime. I am not kidding you. This is my beef with the Iranians.
But I think they're Iranians. Could I have some water, please?
Are you serious?
I'm not asking to drink out of your thing.
Okay, so if anybody knows, but you guys know what I'm talking about, that Iran, and they're not the only country. There's like another country that's on the half hour thing too. Stop messing with us.
Yeah, I would say that's rough.
Yeah, but it is. It's like they're on the half hour, and I don't know. If you ask me, it's a little snotty by the Iranians to be on the half hour. It's like, you guys are too good to be with the rest of us.
Thank you so much for the water. I appreciate it. So
no, it's not Argentina. It's somewhere else in Asia. It's somewhere else in the vicinity of Iran that is on there, that has the half hour thing.
When we say that it is very difficult to conceive this idea that we are going to see some type of change coming from the top, what we mean is, don't ever get your hopes up when you get a story like this. You're losing me. As the evangelical backlash against Israel grows inside MAGA, Trump officials threaten reprisals. And that, of course, is a threat coming directly from Mike Hart Huckabee, you know, the evangelical pastor.
Oh, my God.
Former governor.
Who doesn't think Palestine is real. Palestinians aren't real. It's Judea and Samaria. Judea and Samaria.
Effie Jello.
It's disgusting.
A recent wave of violence against Palestinian Christians in Gaza and the West Bank is deepening divisions within President Donald Trump's political base over U.S. support for Israel, as frustration grows among evangelical leaders. Are we blocked? It's Haaretz. That's right, we're blocked.
Good. I don't want to read them anyway. I don't want to read that. I don't want to read this crap. Screw these people.
But there is an important note here. So
he is going to lose his base. It's going to split. You're going to get a split between the secular people and the evangelicals, and the secular / more libertarian type people versus the neocon evangelical people. And I think that, honestly, I've said it before, that's a good thing. Any split in any of these duopoly parties that have this hold on any sort of insurgency in the ranks is good.
Ambassador Huckabee says, I have asked Israel to aggressively investigate the murder of Saif Musalet, an American citizen who was visiting family in Sanjil when he was beaten to death. There must be accountability for this criminal and terrorist act. Safe was just 20 years old. Hey, I'd say that was a great message from I Heart Huckabee.
It's a little bit generic.
Sure.
Considering that he's leaving out important things that we already know to be true.
Colin, scroll down just so that people can get an idea of what the commentary was like.
I hope they shredded him a new asshole.
This is what Americans want, but we don't want lip service. Get justice. He was an American from Florida. The Israeli settlers beat him to death and blocked medics from reaching him.
Right, exactly.
Those who murdered him must be held accountable. So as other settlers that murdered innocent Palestinians. Israelis aggressively investigating their own crimes. I'm sure it will be very aggressive.
And that's, you know what, and that's why this goes back to why I don't understand why journalists even show up in certain press rooms. Why do you think anybody is going to tell you the truth? Nobody thinks Israel's going to do an investigation into their own stuff. I'm still waiting for the investigation into Hind Rajab or the 14 medics that were murdered and buried with their truck. We're waiting on that investigation as well. Yeah, good luck to us on that.
Friend of the show, Blakely. Wow, I'm honestly surprised that you actually said this, since usually you guys ignore murder of Palestinian Americans. Glad to see it. He deserves justice. And friend of the show, Zachary Foster. Hey, Mike, what will you do if and when there is no accountability?
Well, I know what he'll do. Mike is hoping that by then it will already have greater Israel, and there'll just be so much joy in greater Israel that we'll just forget about it.
So violence against Christian Palestinians is something that Huckabee is now finding out in real time after visiting the West Bank. That this is no joke. It's not just Muslims, it's Christians too, that the psychopaths don't really care very much for. Just like everything on the state side with Christian Zionists, John Hagee, Kenneth Copeland, Joel Osteen.
Oh, they care so much
about Jews. Oh, yeah. Just like the Zionist Israeli Jews really care about Christians as well.
No, they don't even understand anything about this. But they did just bomb the last Catholic church.
That is true.
So you know, that's not really.
So that's not going over very well.
Right, Mr. Huckabee, that's not really a testament to, like, you know, Christian love.
But if you thought that Huckabee was going to give an even more pressing response in lieu of what's happened in the last 24 hours, well, here's what he had to say. Colin, could you please bring up the last tweet that I sent?
Okay.
Brace yourselves. After meeting with the Minister of the Interior and with the help of Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu, this is in the last 24 hours, mind you, after he just put those two posts out, I'm happy to report that the issue concerning visas for American evangelical organizations has been fully resolved. Starting in January, a change in the manner in which visas for Christian organizations has been processed for decades led to serious challenges bureaucratically and financially for the groups. Upon arriving in Israel as ambassador, I learned that the changes in the process were creating delays, costs, and significant burdens with paperwork. After a meeting with the Minister of Interior, we thought the problem was settled, but the organizations continued to have issues. I informed the Prime Minister's office of the problem and pointed out how detrimental it was to the relationship of the State of Israel with the American evangelical community. The Christian organizations did not at any time ask for different or special treatment, but merely a return to what it has been, an efficient and satisfactory process for many years. God, it sounds like the immigration process in the States.
You're reading it too happy-go-lucky.
Attorney Caleb Myers, an Israeli attorney who represents some 150 Christian groups in Israel, was instrumental in outlining the request, and the Prime Minister's office was supportive and involved in the resolution, along with the Minister of the Interior. I am delighted to report that the issue has been resolved to everyone's satisfaction. You mean the bureaucrats' satisfaction. And the strong support that Israel enjoys from American evangelicals will continue, stated U.S. Ambassador Mike Huckabee. I'm convinced the Interior Minister was not fully aware of the change being imposed, and I'm grateful he has personally intervened to completely restore the long-standing process. It seems to me two things here. One, they don't actually care about Saif and what happened to him. They don't actually care about Palestinian Christians. What they do care about is evangelical Christian Americans who want to have their dual relationship between the U.S. and Israel, and Mike Huckabee, who only needed to twist the arm ever so slightly of the state of Israel to say, well, we're going to have a little bit of a problem here if you don't actually go along with what we want you to do. So how about fixing that little problem? You fixed it? Great. That guy's safe? Oh, who was he?
But do you
Yesterday's news.
understand why that all is, right?
I don't know, Jen. Tell me why.
Well, I'm going to go with it's a white thing.
Maybe
I'm going to go with it's a white thing. So, because again, if these are Christians that claim that there is a religious component to their need to ethnically cleanse Palestine of the people that are from there, but yet they don't seem to care about the Christian people that are from there. Okay. And there's Christian people, Christians, Catholic, whatever that you want to say in that area, lots of whole different people. And they don't care about them, but they're also Christians. So why is it? Is it that they're not white? Is it that they're, I don't know, from the Levant region and Western Asian, maybe? Because it can't be a religious thing if they're Catholic and Christian. And in fact, the Christians that are the Palestinian Christians, those are the original Christians. That's the thing. Their people were Christians before your people were, playing with dirt and sticks. That's how I feel about the evangelicals. They're stupid.
One thing you could say about the Catholic Church is that there is only one Catholic Church. But Protestantism, there are how many different denominations of Protestant Christianity? Hundreds, probably. And evangelism is the worst. Yeah, you can argue for the Westboro Baptist Church, but again, very small denomination. Seventh-day Adventists, very small denomination. The evangelicals, there are tens of millions of them. And Texas is one of the worst states. There's no question about it. That's where a lot of the mega churches actually are. They're in Houston. They're in San Antonio.
It's so unfortunate. I remember I lived not far from Cornerstone.
And they support this shit. And so anybody who had this half-hearted idea that Huckabee was somehow doing something good, that's where you know that it's all one big scam.
And it's not just a scam, though. It's a scam intertwined with white supremacy.
But this is also a prime example of how the whole conversation this evening comes full circle. We started with AOC and we showed you what a hypocrite she is. And guess what? Mike Huckabee is basically the exact same thing.
Well, at the end of the day, they're working for the same people.
They are.
They're serving the same mission.
And I don't want to hear any argument about, well, AOC is only here and Mike Huckabee's over here. It doesn't matter. They're still on the same ladder.
You're supporting a Zio-Nazi ethno-state.
End of story. As soon as it came out that Saif was murdered, there should have been actual repercussions because we all know why it happened. This guy was an American citizen who happens to be Palestinian. He was in the West Bank, and he was probably going to go back to the States and report what he was seeing. And they can't allow that.
Well, it's the same reason. Well, it's that, but they're also just killing so many people in the West Bank, like the settler violence, and it is completely condoned and allowed, and in many cases helped by the IDF. They don't do anything about it. They completely support it. And you're talking about, these are cowards. These are cowards because this isn't here. Do you know what would happen? The only reason that they get away with this is the Palestinians are unarmed.
Oh, yeah.
The Palestinians are unarmed. They don't have access to weapons.
Why do you think they ran away from Iran so quickly? Because they were, oh, wait, this is a real fight?
Right.
Oh,
they only know how to pick on people that are unarmed. But if you tried that sort of settler violence in places like in this country, oh, please. Please try going up into the area where I'm looking to move up in northern Georgia and try telling people that you're coming to take their land from them and see how that goes.
Not well.
And it's like these
not
are
good. Not good.
Not good.
Not good.
So, you know, they get away with it because Palestinians are unarmed. So, you know, but the violence in the West Bank is at an all-time. I mean, it's outrageous right now.
It is.
They're just totally using Gaza and everything in Syria as a distraction per usual to just go in and commit more violence and confiscate more land for settlements in the West Bank. And people like Daniela Weiss are, you know, the perpetrators of this. These are people that need to at some point be held accountable. And the truth is, I don't feel like there is anything that would be accountable enough, personally. Like there is no accountability that's going to ever be enough for the damage that has been done and the moral wrong. I have been morally violated. I feel morally violated, and I am but just like a drop in a huge ocean of this. So, you know, there's no accountability.
Not yet.
Not enough.
But
It won't be
we're working on
sufficient. It won't be sufficient.
Boycott, divest, sanction. One more time, patreon.com/revolutionary change. For as little as $5 a month, you could become a supporter of our small but mighty and growing channel. Quintessential with the somebody please I don't could it be Hong Kong? $25
I don't know. What's AK?
HK.
Oh, HK.
I assumed Hong Kong. I could be.
I don't know enough
But
about
anybody
currency.
want to help us out? That would be great.
We appreciate the support wherever it is from.
100%. Be happy for the people who show up for Palestine. Not happy for MTG, Tucker, Zohran, Joy Reid, etc. You don't know if they're grifting. Well, here's what I do know. And I don't, and of all the people in that group, I would say
Joy Reid is the grifter.
Joy Reid is the biggest grifter. Tucker is just somebody who has had sort of an epiphany moment in his life. And maybe it's because he's not on Fox anymore. Whatever the reason is, he's using the second. This is the thing that most people
I don't think
know.
of him as a grifter. I just think of him as an elitist.
100% elitist. But he has the second largest podcast on all of Spotify. And he is using his platform to go directly at Israel. Now, whether that's a grift or not, he's still doing it. And millions of people are hearing that message of Israel is our enemy. They are not our friend. And that helps. Marjorie Taylor Greene, she's a political opportunist.
Yeah. She's the same as Minnie Pelosi on the other side to some extent. She just has a lot more chutzpah. She's got balls. But in terms of like participating in the theater and the opportunism of being able to advance in this little endeavor, it's similar.
Joy Reid, well, we've covered her more times than we could count.
We don't need
Not
to.
a night. Not
Why
a nice
is
place,
Zohran in that same category? I'm not.
Why you want to put Zohran in that category? Listen, Zohran, no one's perfect, but Zohran does not need to be thrown in with those.
No, I don't think he's no. At
Let's give
least
him a
not
break.
yet. At least not yet.
Yeah. We've called him out for mistakes he's made. Let's see him make real, tangible mistakes, and then we can talk about that. Progressive Lefty, again with the $6.99 Canadian aid. Thank you so much. If Iran had nukes, Israel never would have attacked them.
And that's truth.
When was the last time North Korea was attacked? Well, that's why we didn't attack them.
And that's again, and people don't realize this, and it doesn't take a lot of research to look into it. But the reason that Iran doesn't have nuclear weapons, believe it or not, isn't because of us. I know we think it's because we told them they're not allowed. So they said, oh, okay, we won't have them. That's not why. They don't have them. It's actually against their religion. They actually have a fatwa that was put out about that. And while it was modified because of us pulling out of the JCPOA, right? Is that what it is? The JCPOA, the non-proliferation agreement. When we pulled out of that, they waited a year. They waited a year and were still abiding by the agreement before they even questioned or looked into modifying their rule and potentially having a nuclear program. But quite honestly, I go back to my first point, which is it's none of our business.
Zainab, here's what I'm going to say about Marjorie, and keep this in mind. There was a time where Marjorie was standing in front of podiums with the Israel flag in front of it. There is a reason for skepticism with her.
Yes.
That doesn't mean that she is not doing the right thing. We've made it abundantly clear
Yes,
that
we
she
can
is.
say both things are true. This isn't a dichotomy. I could say she's correct on this issue, but she is
always have your
suspect
guard
to
up.
me and has been ever since Jewish space lasers.
Yeah.
I've heard things come out of her mouth that are just absurd and that make her sound completely stupid. And so I will always have a certain reservation about her.
100%. Same here. And again, same thing with AOC. Same thing with Bernie Sanders. When you start doing the things that they're doing and they're wrong, you have to remain steadfast. This is not about making friends. This is about humanity. Either you have it or you don't have it, and there is no gray area on this issue. This is pretty freaking ironclad, period. Ozma, always a pleasure, and thank you so much for your continued amazing support for our channel. Jen and Peter, it was a treat to see you both together. I wish I had something uplifting to say to your guest. The only thing I can say is to hold steadfast. The world is with you and all of Palestine.
It's true.
We are going to end this on a positive note.
We are.
So
I want to
very
go get
often-
food somewhere.
I want to get food too. While I do
I have a
think
plan.
that it is,
I have a plan.
it goes without saying, there's not a lot of hope out there for members of the Jewish community who speak up and out about the wrongs of the world. But there is one who did recently, and he's one of the best actors we've ever seen. It's too bad his brother's not alive today to see him do it.
And it's absolutely so fucking horrible. There's no justification for fucking children starving to death in a conflict. Like, it's that simple, right? You don't have to understand geopolitics or anything like that just to get that. I know there are conflicts all over the world constantly, but that's something that is it's shocking, like how maybe we're afraid to talk about it. And oftentimes you're made to feel like you're stupid because you don't understand geopolitics. You kind of go like, well, I don't have to understand geopolitics. Like, you just have to understand like human rights. What's happening? It just is crazy to me. Just the food distribution that's happening now in Gaza.
They said they're like hiding it from people, or that they're tricking people, or that they have to go so far to get it. It seems
right, but why is it not the organizations that have typically overseen that and have half a century of experience or decades of experience doing it in the different NGOs, and they're not the ones that are overseeing the food distribution? It's a new organization, the Gaza Humanitarian Foundation.
Yeah, we know about them. And
that-
we've talked about that, guys, before.
And what Joaquin here is saying, which is correct, is that these NGOs, much like the way that it is here in the United States, they just pop up out of anywhere. Do you know how many pro-Israel NGOs exist in the United States?
And you don't even know based on their names or anything. It could be it sounds completely benign, and they're like not.
Which is also what brings our conversation again. I've been saying for the longest time, we try to execute our podcast like a great rock album, where it's a story that's being told. Everything is connected.
How do you know about album-oriented rock?
I know a few things.
You're too young to appreciate album-oriented rock.
I heard things. Much like earlier when we pointed out the stuffy rat bastard in New York City saying, how the hell could Zohran think he's going to be mayor of New York City and go after Israel when we have $26 billion invested with them here in the States? Well, that's what a lot of the NGOs are about. This is about money and power.
But what he was saying is that the NGOs that normally would be responsible for handling this stuff, that have the experience to do it, were pushed aside and not let in. And now what's happening is that Gaza Humanitarian Foundation, which we've talked about before, is not humanitarian, and they are a group of mercenaries and former our former military and people working for contractors that are using it as an excuse to kill people in Palestine.
And so that is it's just really troubling and heartbreaking. So it just feels like, how do we not acknowledge that in, in some way?
Yeah, he's talking about UNRWA.
So how do we not? How about everybody else? You know who has been a silent son of a bitch in this entire experience?
A lot of
Adam
people.
Sandler is one person in particular who I know is a Zionist and has been
Then I'm glad he's been quiet, to be honest
probably
with you.
better for him just not to say anything
I'm
about it.
glad he's been quiet.
And that may be the smartest. I mean, listen, he's a smart businessman. He always has been.
Well, then you know what? Then that is why. And if it comes out, then it just is one more person for me to like just be disgusted with. I'd rather not know. This is why I haven't talked to like my family and a whole lot of people in like a really long time, because I know, but I don't really need to hear it.
But it is helpful. And again, this gets back to Theo Vaughn continuing to use his major platform that is so vital, that was so vital during the 2024 election that Trump actually went on with him. And apparently the reason Trump decided to go on with Theo Vaughn is because Trump's son, Barron, told him, I really like this guy. You should go on with him. And so Theo Vaughn is also using his platform to constantly talk about what's going on in Gaza.
Yeah.
Like that is I don't care if you don't like, Trump bros or debate bros or whatever you want to call them. If people are using their platform for good, then let it be. There are way too many opportunists out there who would never do such a thing.
All right.
So under different circumstances, we would say, okay, we may not want to break bread with you, but in these circumstances, we say we disagree with you on a number of things, but we will break bread with you if it's a means to ending this unconscionably horrific genocide that is still going on.
At this point, we're actually even past that. It's a Holocaust. It's a Holocaust.
Mark your calendars for October 7th, 2025. The Zionists, led by the likes of Gvir and Daniela Weiss and Netanyahu, they are going to do two things on that day. One, they're going to treat it like the biggest funeral in the history of the world. They're going to treat it like we treat 9/11 still in this country, even though it's obvious now that 9/11 was completely orchestrated.
But they've already had one anniversary.
Well, they're going to have another one.
Well, right. But I mean, I don't know. This isn't going to be like the first time we've seen that. They did that last year.
And then the other thing that they're going to do, like they did last year, on October 7th, mark my words, they are going to rain hell from above on Gaza and on the West Bank. If you think killing's bad now, they're going to make it a point to do some serious lawn mowing on that day. So I would advise anybody who is still there, and if the word could get out to them, make sure that you have a plan for October 7th, because they'll plan something substantially large. And
where are you suggesting that's happening?
That's a great question. I don't know. I really wish I did have an answer for them. But as long as we have people like Joaquin Phoenix who will use his platform as a Jewish American to speak up and out, I wish he would call out some of his own, but you can't have everything you want. Just the fact that he's willing to do that is a great thing to see. And we need a hell of a lot more of it. So with that said, smash that like button. Subscribe if you're new here. Make sure you click that bell so you're aware of when we go live. We will have another clip dropping in approximately...
I was going to say, he's not Jewish. I was going to say that too. Thank you, Zainab.
No,
I know Joaquin Phoenix is not Jewish.
I'm pretty sure that he is.
I didn't think they were Jewish.
All right, now we got to check this before we go.
I don't think he was raised Jewish. They were raised by like hippie traveling caravan nomadic parents. Like totally unconventional.
Well, I'll find out right now if I'm right. Joaquin Phoenix's mother is Jewish with Hungarian Jewish and Russian Jewish heritage. His parents were not religious. He identifies as a secular Jew who does not. Okay, well,
all right. So he's Jewish like you're Jewish, except you don't identify that way.
I guess so. So with that said, smash that like button.
He's
share, subscribe.
Jewish.
Just like I'm Irish.
I want to go get pub food. I'm craving fish and chips.
All right, let's do it.
Rachel, fish and chips.
Smash that like button, share, subscribe, do all those things we ask you to do. We love you all. We got one more super chat. Sajid Nasir, please have Wally. Listen, I would have Wally on anytime just to talk about with my dinner with Andre, and he's an anti-Zionist Jew. A great entertainer.
You could ask Katie for his info.
I would ask him for Wally. Yeah, I think I have once before. It's probably not that hard to find. So we'll work on that. Thank you so very much, guys. We love you all. We'll see you Thursday.
Free Palestine.
Have a good night, guys.